college football prime time. Tonight's telecast is brought to you in high definition, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Less than 5 hours from their campus in Boone, North Carolina, the Mountaineers well represented in the stands tonight. As a matter of fact, their fans started lining up for tickets last Friday night and into Saturday morning right after the semifinal win over Richmond. Ticket window stayed open until almost 4 o'clock in the morning, shut down for a couple of hours, reopened early in the morning, or actually later in that Saturday morning, and all the tickets were gone by noon. And they are fired up, a chance to make history. No team has ever won 3 straight national titles at this level. Appalachian State, one of only 3 programs to win 2 in a row. Youngstown State and Georgia Southern are the others. Delaware, dressed in white, won the toss and elected to receive. Julian Roush will kick off for the Mountaineers. Marvin McKinney and Kirvin Michaud back deep. And the national championship game is underway. It's Michaud, a junior. Shot down at the 21-yard line. 14-yard return and a fired-up coverage unit for Appalachian State, led by Mark Legree. Let's meet the Delaware starters on offense, introduced by head coach Casey Keeler.
Starting a quarterback for us, we just call him the laser. Number 5, Joe Flacco. At tailback, just call him the legend. Number 28, Omar Cuff. And on the offensive line, Mike Byrne, number 75, who graduated in 3.5 years with 2 degrees.
And he is an All-American right tackle, protecting Joe Flacco, senior from Audubon, New Jersey, about 50 minutes from their Delaware campus in Newark, Delaware. 6'6" and change, and about 230 pounds for Flacco, a transfer from the University of Pittsburgh. And his first toss is too high, over the head of Aaron Love. Jerome Touchstone had the coverage. Flacco, the co-offensive player of the year in the Colonial Athletic Association, shared that honor with the outstanding quarterback at the University of New Hampshire, Ricky Santos. 3,929 yards passing, the single season school record for the Blue Hens. Coached by Casey Keeler, a Delaware graduate, 48 years old, in his 6th year, trying to win a 2nd national title as head coach. They won it all in 2003 when they beat Colgate 40-0. Tough run by Omar Cuff. He gets about 7. It'll be 3rd down. Let's meet the Appalachian State defense, introduced by Coach Jerry Moore.
On defense, one of the players to watch is going to be Gary Tharrington, a defensive end. He's played every position on our defensive line this year. Then we got a freshman linebacker, DJ Smith, who's had a terrific freshman year. And then we go to the leader of our defense, Corey Lynch, who's been an All-American the last 2 years, has led the Southern Conference and set a Southern Conference record in interceptions.
24 career interceptions for Lynch, the 3-time All-American. And of course, the focus on Cortez Gilbert, in for the suspended Justin Wose. 3rd down and 3 for the Blue Hens, and Flacco threw a bullet that was almost intercepted. Intended for his tight end, Robbie Agnon, and there was Corey Lynch, the All-American, as usual in the right spot to break it up, 3 and out for Delaware.
Corey Lynch does a great job with his body position right here, getting over the big body of Agnon and not committing interference. Now, he had a little hook there, but the officials are going to let him play, but it's a good job of timing, arriving when the ball arrives.
Stuart Kenworthy shanks his first punt of the night. And it goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Just a 30-yard kick by Kenworthy. He averages 37 yards per punt. So great field position for Appalachian State in its prolific offense, averaging 42 points per game, 3rd best in the country, led by the dual threat Armonte Edwards, only a sophomore from Greenwood, South Carolina, led them to the national championship last year and has a chance to do it again. Averaging 150 yards per game rushing and 175 passing. And he's in trouble and sacked. They went for a little fake, and it did not fool John Higginson, the defensive end, sophomore from Amherst, Massachusetts.
And watch Higginson right here. He's not going to bite on any fake. He's going to hold his responsibility and do a good job of fighting off one of the better blockers for Appalachian State in Cardwell. Good discipline. You want to take the ball out of Armani Edwards' hands. That means you have to account for him with a player every single play.
Loss of 10. 2nd and 20. And now Edwards takes off running. And is tackled at the 39 by Walter Blair. Walk-on sophomore linebacker from District Heights, Maryland. Let's meet the Appalachian State offense introduced by Coach Moore.
Our offense starts right down the middle with our quarterback, Armonte Edwards. Armonte's had a terrific year, even though we missed 4 ball games. And then we go to Kevin Richardson, our running back, who's had outstanding ball games in these national championship games. And then we go to our center, Scott Suttle, who came to Appalachian as a walk-on football player, one of the captains of our football team.
And an excellent center, Nick Rapone, the defensive coordinator for Delaware, very impressed by Suttle, said he has great feet. Edwards throws a strike on 3rd and 13 and a big gainer. Coco Hillary inside the 25. Well, we spoke with Scott Satterfield, the play caller for Appalachian State yesterday. Said the key last year in the championship game, Edwards was great on 3rd down, and that's a big play on this 3rd down for 41.
Right there, and especially if Delaware is going to try to play man-to-man, one of the things that the Mountaineer offense has that Delaware has not seen at this level is the speed. Speed on the perimeter. Right there, Coco Hillary beat Walters on the crossing route.
And flags before the snap. It's the MEAC officiating crew.
Prior to the snap, false start, 7-6 offense, 5-yard penalty, remaining 1st down.
Andre Lowe, the referee, with the honor of working this national championship game with his crew.
For Delaware to get into this ball game, Sean, if they're going to play man-to-man, they have to have somebody on the middle to help, whether it be a linebacker, a safety, or a spy. Somebody has to help on the crossing route, because right now he had Dexter Jackson deep and he had Hillary on the crossing route.
1st and 15. And Kevin Richardson, the all-time leading rusher in Appalachian history, dropped for a loss by K.C. Keeler's defense, and the coach introduces his starting 11 on D.
For the Blue Hens on defense, it starts up front with number 11, Matt Marcarell, the first sophomore captain in the history of the program. At linebacker, and I love linebackers, number 57, Eric Johnson. We just call him the Lumberjack. And in the secondary, Anthony Walters, the redshirt freshman who sealed the deal with his interception against Southern Illinois.
We asked Eric Johnson why they call him the Lumberjack. He said he wasn't sure. Armani Edwards breaks a tackle and is tackled nicely in the open field by Fred Andrew, a cornerback. That's a key to being successful against Appalachian State. You have to tackle Edwards in space.
Yeah, and it's not very easy to do, not only because of the shiftiness and the shake of Armani, but also at 175 pounds, what I've witnessed in the past 2 weeks, and he runs like he's 220 pounds with surprising power.
313 yards rushing. All-time record by a quarterback on the top 2 levels of college football. The mark set by Edwards last week. Now another 3rd down and 9, and a screen to Richardson, and another 3rd down conversion, and a touchdown.
Two things. Kerry Brown's going to get the knockout black. Big number 76. You don't wrap your arms in a guy that's determined. And Richardson running over people. Tackle him high on the goal line. If you tackle me low, he says, I'll go over top and I'll get in to the zone.
Field judge Michael Carter right there, and it looked like it was a touchdown. It is being reviewed because of this level of college football. The FCS Football Championship Subdivision, formerly Division I AA. The only time they use replay is in the semifinals and finals. of these national playoffs, which started with 16 teams.
See right there, to me, the ball certainly crossed the plane. Anthony Bratton's got to come high on the goal line to protect that. Anytime you go high, you got a chance of not letting the guy go over top.
One question I would have was the ball flopping around a little bit? Did he have possession of the ball as he was crossing the goal line? It looked like it was wobbling around just a little bit in the grasp of Kevin Richardson, the senior from Elizabethtown, North Carolina, who came to Appalachian State as a walk-on. Yeah, that ball's a little loose there, but and slides out just as he goes apparently across the goal line.
There's the ball that's loose. He has possession right there. He's across the goal line.
Will stay as called, although it was sliding around.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown.
A 19-yarder. Two of the all-time great touchdown scores in the history of college football at any level in this game tonight, in Richardson and Omar Cuff. And the extra point is good from Julian Roush. 6-play drive, 58 yards. It took 3:02, and Appalachian State is first on the board. It is a high-scoring Appalachian attack. They tend to outscore their opponents. They're average at best defensively. But they've scored at least 30 points in all but one game this year. James Madison, the only team to hold them under 30. And the Dukes gave up 28 in the first round of these playoffs. That was a game Appalachian State was very fortunate to win by their own admission.
Yeah, and the thing that makes it so difficult is they have weapons all over the field. And they're very unselfish as an offense, and Armani will spread the ball around. Plus, you got to defend him. It's just the defensive coordinator's nightmare.
And Julian Roush will kick off after the 72nd career touchdown scored by Kevin Richardson. Irvin Mashad again. Better return this time. And he's out to the 29-yard line.
Always talk about blocking downfield. Watch Big Kerry Brown right here. He's going to take care of Anthony Walters, who does have a shot. See Big Kerry coming off the block right here. He springs Richardson with the block right there. Josh Johnson gets a block downfield, and Kevin Richardson, with power and determination, gets into the end zone. That's what Appalachian State's offensive line does so well. They get to the second, third level like nobody else.
We mentioned rushing touchdowns. Of course, that was a receiving score for Richardson, but Richardson and Cuff among the all-time leaders at this level of college football. Cuff chopped down behind the line by Jerome Touchstone, a four-year starter in the secondary. They have three four-year starters, Touchstone, Lynch, and Wozay. But as we mentioned earlier in Rob Stone's report, Justin Wozay will not play tonight, suspended for a violation of team rules.
See Touchstone, the corner coming in on a corner blitz. Can't account for him. Untouched, making a good open field tackle on Cuff.
That is the 55th career start for Touchstone. Flacco's throw is incomplete. Intended for Mark Duncan. Anthony Williams putting a little bit of pressure on Flacco. Flacco, a lot of heat on these passes early. You wonder if he has a little extra adrenaline flow.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but I watched the game last week against the Salukis, and they dropped 6 balls that were very catchable. And they got to start bringing those in. They look to me like they're a little bit uptight early on.
And this is nothing new for them in each of their last 2 games. The wins at Northern Iowa and Southern Illinois, they trailed 10-0 before rallying to win. A blitz. Flacco hit as he throws, and it is caught! Caught by Aaron Love just over the hands of the outstretched defender and hauled in by Love, the junior from Detroit out of Southfield High School. 30-yard gain.
They're playing zero coverage, no safety help. but Flacco shows his toughness and delivers the ball with Love going up, one-handing it, then doing something after. Titus Howard quit on a play a little bit, then got through it. You see Corey Lynch taking care of Omar Cuff and plus a host of others, but that's what Flacco will show. He'll hang in there as long as he can to let his receivers do the work down the field.
Gary Tharrington and Daniel Finnerty put the hit on Flacco, but he had enough on the throw to complete it over Titus Howard to Love. And now Kervin Michaud. Michaud has been a running back and a wide receiver at Delaware. And that's his 15th carry of the year. Good for a 9-yard gain, and the Hens line up quickly, going without a huddle. After a gain of 9, they're at the Appalachian State 32-yard line. Flacco averages 280 yards per game passing. Inside handoff to Cuff. They'll wear him out if necessary, and the officials stop the play for the chains to move on a first down. Jacques Roman, their leading tackler, and DJ Smith made the tackle. Cuff, in their 5 overtime loss to Richmond in the regular season, carried the ball 48 times and had 52 touches in a game.
That's amazing. We told him about that last night when we sat down and met with him, and he was actually surprised that he had that much work. But he's a tough kid, Sean. Right there, and we're looking at the offensive line. They're getting movement on the front 7 of App State's defensive line early on when they run it.
A good and veteran offensive line, particularly on the right side.
Prior to snap, delay of game, offense, number 5, 5-yard penalty, remain first down.
That's not likely to rattle Flacco. One thing you hear over and over again when you talk to the coaches, his teammates, and the opponents, he appears to be unflappable. He said, I do get nervous when we visited him last night, but it doesn't generally show outwardly.
No, and I think that's why this team, they follow his lead. They're able to come back when things don't go well. They don't panic. They follow the lead of the leader.
Flacco started out at Pittsburgh, but then it looked like he was going to be a backup to Tyler Calco. He transferred to Delaware. He finds Love in the open field. First down inside the 10. He stumbles down at the 8-yard line. 24-yard gain.
Pocket presence. At 6'6", 230 pounds, one of the question marks, is he a big stiff? You'll see right here, no, he's not. He's an athlete. He's able to break away from Tharrington, and Love has a play. Put the ball away, young man. You do all that shaking and baking, and you trip on the 10-yard line. See the pressure right there. Flacco with the presence steps up and delivers on man-to-man coverage. DJ Smith had him. Close the gate behind the ball.
Midway through the first quarter, Delaware on the move, down 7-0. Cuff carries inside the 4. It'll be second and goal. Chris, earlier today I spoke with Scott Frost, the former national championship winning quarterback at Nebraska, now coaching linebackers at Northern Iowa. His head coach Mark Farley, after that Delaware win at Northern Iowa, said we sacked Flacco, easy for me to say, 5 times, and it could have been 10 or 11. And Scott Frost said he, for a guy his size, has great escapability, and even when you get a hit on him, you can't get him on the ground, and we're seeing that already.
Well, that's the strength, and I know the comparison has been made to Ben Roethlisberger, the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but when you have that kind of strength, you got to take him down when you have your shot. They had a shot on him early on that last pass play that went for big yardage, where Tim Washington had him in the sights, but you got to take him and put a helmet through him, because he'll run right through you. And when you have that type of strength and that vision, his eyes stay down the field too, Sean, which allowed him to make that pass. He doesn't look to tuck and run. He looks to tuck and throw.
There's an injured Delaware player, Corey Nicholson, who's trying to come back from injury. He had a hip injury early in that win at Northern Iowa and did not play last week at Southern Illinois. They were uncertain about how much he'd be able to go tonight, and the sophomore is limping off. John Herman will come in to replace him. He played most of the game and played well last week at Southern Illinois, but they're banged up on the left side of that offensive line. Their starting left tackle, Greg Benson, a fine player, went down for the rest of the year in their first-round playoff win against Delaware State with a knee injury.
Kevin Yule's the left tackle at 250 pounds. He's going up against Tharrington. That's something that we'll watch and keep an eye on for you tonight, that matchup.
On 2nd and goal, it's Cuff. Is he into the end zone again? Yes, he is. Omar, the touchdown maker, has Delaware on the board. And they might look at this to make sure he got in. He was very close to being down near the goal line. If it stands, it's his 39th total touchdown of the year.
I think that's a touchdown also, and Omar Cuff has the nose for the ball. He gets it going to the left and gives him an opportunity to get the ball deep enough for him to pick this hole. And again, the front five, or the Blue Hens, are doing a good job of sustaining their blocks. Then when you have the powerful Cuff in balance, reaching for the end zone and achieving the goal.
So 2 record-setting touchdown scores, Richardson and Cuff, in this game, and they both found the end zone already. That is almost certainly going to stand up as the 35th rushing touchdown of the season for Omar Cuff, and that'll be 11 more than any player has ever had in a season at Delaware. It's his 65th career rushing touchdown. That's the Colonial Athletic Association record. 5 more than Jerry Azuma of New Hampshire went on to the Chicago Bears.
How about the response of Cuff, Sean, and that Delaware offense taking a shot to the gut and coming back and responding, throwing their own punch.
Well, the ball's on the ground, but is he down?
See his elbow.
His elbows are off the ground, it appears, and his knees are off the ground. Well, the elbow's down right there, and the ball is not, it appears, from that angle across the end zone. So we might be giving him another chapter in the history books prematurely.
Well, you almost think, you know, that any replay, you might, you got to sometimes trust what the officials see on the field. And I understand that. And you can see he's getting a Band-Aid, probably where he got a little of the chopped up tires and tennis shoes in his elbow with a turf burn.
Well, the length of time this is taking, we should have a verdict here pretty soon, but it did appear that his elbow was down and that ball was just shy of the goal line.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner was down short of the goal line. It'd be 3rd and inches.
And the veteran replay official in the booth, Jim Allison of the Southeastern Conference, and it looked like he got it right. So no touchdown, at least for the moment, for Cuff in Delaware. It's still 7-0 for Jerry Moore in Appalachian State. 3rd and goal from just shy of the goal line. And Kirk Sharaka, the offensive coordinator, tells us usually in short yardage situations they run right behind the All-American Mike Byrne.
Right there.
Straight ahead, and Cuff didn't get it. Cam Spear, a backup linebacker, in there in goal line defense.
Sean, you run right. He's your money guy. He told us that. So what's he do? He's going to run left, and you see the penetration. Cam Spear and Howard coming off the corner blitz, selling out for the run. Byrne's your guy. Run the ball behind Byrne. Right here, I sneak him at 6'6", 230.
It is a fake, and Flacco is retreating all the way back to the 20. Back of the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Josh Baker. So after a touchdown is reversed on a replay review, they had 3rd down and goal from inches from the goal line and could not score on 3rd or 4th down.
I'll tell you, Josh Baker was tackled by Titus Howard at the beginning of the play. He was taken down, and you saw Josh Baker have a reaction to the official. That's what Coach Casey is saying right now. They tackled him. Titus Howard's in good position here, but at the start of the play, Titus Howard took him down.
So Delaware has points taken off the board, and they do not score. There's Kirk Shiraka, the offensive coordinator for Delaware. Some interesting play calling. He told us yesterday, even though the other team knows we're going to run right in short yardage, that's what we do. They didn't do it on third down. Then they throw on fourth down with a 6'6" quarterback and a touchdown scoring record-setting running back.
And you see right there, Titus Howard didn't get called for it. He got away with one. He actually took down Josh Baker, held him on the line of scrimmage. No call. Ended up working out, obviously, in Appalachian State's favor, but I do have to don't understand that play call all day, Sean. Burns, our money man. We're running behind him when we need a tough yard. Left, and they didn't sneak it. You got 6'6", 230. Just jump over the pile.
Well, Kirk Shiraka told us the story yesterday about a recent game. They were thinking about not running behind the right side of their offensive line in short yards, and they kind of joke, well, why outsmart ourselves? And perhaps that's what they did there. Kevin Richardson trying to get them some breathing room from their goal line. He gets out near the 8. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, I spoke with Casey Keeler in pregames. I asked him if he was, kind of a gut feeling guy. I said, yeah, man, we go for it on fourth down a lot. I just asked him, I said, Coach, was that a no-brainer to go for it? He goes, oh, yeah, we need some sevens, Rob.
And interestingly, they're the best third down team in the country in third down conversions at 53%, but couldn't get in on that key third down and goal, and then elected to throw on 4th and inches and did not score. Casey Keeler, no stranger to national championships games. His second in 6 years at Delaware. He went to 5 national championship games in 9 years as head coach at Rowan in Division III. Lost all 5. Of course, Mount Union has dominated D3 for years. And Casey Keeler said when they won here at Delaware in 2003, the national title, it was a big monkey off his back. There's Richardson rumbling out to the 28, and then a late flag thrown in near the end of the run. 17 yards of it stands. Anthony Bratton took down Richardson. Been bothered in recent weeks by a sore ankle. It's basically turned him into strictly a straight ahead runner. And a face mask will add 15 to the end of it.
Personal foul, face mask, 15 on the correction, 30 on the defense, 15 yards to the end of the run, first down.
Charles Graves, the sophomore safety from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, definitely. You got to have enough discipline. I tell you, Kevin Richardson's running like he's mad, like his hair's on fire tonight. He's running over people.
And here, a quiet game last week as Edwards was the star, but he runs for about 10 more there, clearly running with more authority than last week. Here's our authority, Reese Davis, the Sports Center 30 at 30 update.
All right, Sean, but who's going to be the ultimate football authority at Michigan? Could it be Rich Rodriguez? A report saying Rodriguez talked to Michigan officials in northern Ohio today. When returning to Morgantown, Rodriguez just said, going to practice, I'm going to practice. Dan Herron dealt to the Diamondbacks. The A's ace, part of an 8-player deal, and the Diamondbacks now have Herron and Brandon Webb. Sports Center later, guys.
All right. And on Sports Center, you'll see the highlight of that touchdown run by Devin Moore. 46 yards. Appalachian State goes 99 yards in the blink of an eye to take a 2-touchdown lead.
Right there, the same play, and when you have people running all over the place with a confused defense and an athletic downfield blocking offensive line, Devin Moore with the vision can cut through, then he has the ability and the speed to finish.
Right, a backfield tandem known in Boone as Kevin and Devin. And the coaches feel like they don't lose much when Moore is in there to back up Richardson. The extra point good by Julian Roush. 14-0 for the 2-time defending national champs. Well, a dramatic turn of events early. Delaware scored what it thought was a tying touchdown, only to have it reversed on a replay review. The ball spotted just shy of the goal line. 2 more cracks to get it in. They did not, and then Appalachian State goes 99 yards in 1 minute and 26 seconds. And the Fighting Blue Hens are down 14-0. They said they've been here before. They trailed 10-0 in each of their last 2 games. The quarterfinals in Northern Iowa and their semifinal win last week at Southern Illinois. Roush to kick off for the 3rd time already. 4:15 left in the first quarter. This time it's Marvin McKinney. And he's down at the 17-yard line. Here's Rob Stone.
Guys, Corey Nicholson has just left the field. Originally it was a outside of the left ankle injury. They had ice. They took off the shoe. They elevated it, gave him some crutches. Now he's hobbled his way into the locker room. And then this from the defensive bench for Delaware. Kind of 2 separate conversations going on. One with the defensive line and the coach barking out, get off the ball and separate. Chris, I know you can elaborate on that one. The flip side, though, the linebacker and secondaries, very calm, placid conversation, trying to keep things in tune.
Exactly. They're sustaining blocks on them. You got to fight like they're firing and get away from them.
There's Flacco, a screen to Omar Cuff. Great maneuvering along the far sideline. And he's out of bounds near the 36-yard line with a first down, chased out by Anthony Williams, the defensive tackle. But it's a gain of 18.
Yeah, Omar's not going out of bounds for anybody. He had a chance right there to go out of bounds and just get a safe yard. But no, he wants a little extra. Good call to slow down the aggressiveness of the App State defense. Again, Flacco taking a shot. But Omar's not going to duck out of bounds. He's going to put his head down and try to run over you.
We expected a shootout tonight. These teams are both in the top 5 in the country in total offense. Appalachian State 2nd and Delaware 5th. Mashad on another design running play. Tackled by DJ Smith, but that's 11 more and a first down. Mashad played some tailback last year when Omar Cuff was injured. They lost their backup, Jerry Butler, a transfer from Wisconsin early this year, to a knee injury. So in their opening game of the year, when they had the game in hand, they put Mashad in at running back. He injured a knee, and he's had an injured knee all year long.
I like the idea that they're running the football. I mean, App State is 93rd in the FCS division in running.
There's Mashad again across midfield, and then he got walloped by DJ Smith, the freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina.
And DJ makes up for the missed tackle he had last series, this time by bringing his feet and closing the gate in front of the ball. Then let's give him a little slobber knocker, DJ. Attaboy! That's how you tackle. Run through the man.
John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, raves about DJ Smith, and he's already a great player against the run and the pass. Omar Cuff ran into Jock Roman, their leading tackler. Cuff's not very big, but he is tough. We talked to him last night. He said he's about 195 pounds and only 4.6% body fat. 7th in the nation in rushing at 133 yards per game. And on 3rd down and short, straight ahead for a first down to the Appalachian State 37.
Not only when you run the football do you keep the clock going, but the obvious positive of this is you're keeping Armani Edwards and that powerful Appalachian State offense off the field.
Nearing 2 minutes to go. First quarter. Appalachian State looking for an unprecedented 3rd straight national title. Leads 14-0, but here's Cuff tripped up near the 20 by Corey Lynch. Gain of 15 for Cuff out of Landover, Maryland. He said, I'm a 2-minute walk from the Redskins Stadium. I can see their field from my house.
Right here, it's the offensive line. Opening up holes, and when you can run through a hole and not get touched, you need to give your guys a pat on the rear end in the big yellow pants because they're doing the job.
Now Flacco out of the shotgun. Completes it to Mark Duncan. Sophomore from Rockville, Maryland. 63 catches for the year coming in. One of the reasons they're one of the best offenses in the country is the development of Mark Duncan. When we spoke with Kirk Shiraka yesterday, he said we knew if Duncan could emerge, we had a chance to be a special offense. Here's Cup. Bounces for about 1.5 yards to the 15-yard line. Tony Robertson made the tackle. And the best third down team in the country faces another key third down here. Third and about 3.
The tempo of Delaware is high. And you see the hands on the Appalachian State defensive linemen start to go into their hips. They're running at a high tempo and trying to get them off guard and confuse them a little bit.
1 minute to go in an action-packed first quarter. Flacco to Machad in trouble and buried back at the 20. DJ Smith the initial hit, and then Cortez Gilbert came to finish him off.
Not only the speed on offense, but the speed on defense. Right there, DJ Smith beat the blocker on the quick screen. And again, tackling in space. You see DJ get a good quick read on this. Beats the offensive tackle out to the point of contact with Cortez, as you said, over the top.
And now John Strajewski, All-American field goal kicker, will try a 35-yarder. And it is no good. He hooked it. Just his 3rd miss of the year. He had made 21 field goals out of 23 tries coming in. The single season Delaware record for field goals. And a miss. He made his first 65 kicks this year, Chris. Extra points and field goals before he missed one. That's just his 6th miss out of 88 tries, either extra points or field goals all year.
And you see Corey Lynch, who obviously blocked one against Michigan, getting the pressure. But Sean, that's 10 points they left on the field. You can't do that against this Mountaineer team.
And back to the ground goes Appalachian State. Devin Moore, that 46-yard touchdown run on their last play from scrimmage, was the longest run of his career. That run good for 9 to end the first quarter. Appalachian State leads Delaware 14-0. Well, some glum faces on the Delaware fans at the end of one quarter, understandably so. Delaware had 2 drives of 10 plays in the first quarter. They came away with no points. Had a touchdown called back on a replay review. And missed a field goal as well. So it's 14-0 Appalachian State. The Mountaineers, the co-champions of the Southern Conference, share the title with Wofford. And then having won 7 in a row. They're 12-2 on the year. Walter Blair made the tackle on Armani Edwards.
There's going to be one adjustment that has to be made if I'm Delaware. When they have 2 backs in the backfield, you might want to think about bringing the 8th guy in the box. Right now they're showing a 2-deep look with 7 guys in the box, and they're getting shredded up the middle.
Third down, less than 1 yard, and it is Richardson for a first down. It's almost as if Delaware, watching that game against Richmond last week when it was Edwards running out of the spread, a lot of option looks, a lot of design quarterback runs, they came out looking for that, and instead they're getting the running back straight ahead. Yeah, and it's a 2-back system. When you have 2 backs in the backfield, they run 1 back as a lead blocker inside. You're creating an extra gap, and you don't have enough people to cover them. That's why we're seeing the mammoth offensive holes being opened up by the Mountaineer offensive line. Edwards, recruited by some of the FCS schools, but mostly as a defensive back and a wide receiver. He wanted to be a quarterback, so came to Appalachian State to have that chance. Eric Johnson and Tim Prindle make the tackle. Jerry Moore's 68 years old. He's been in coaching for over 40 years. He said, "I've never seen anything like what we saw last Friday night." And Edwards had 495 yards of total offense. He said, "I was astonished and shocked." And so was I. I've never seen anything like that either. And he knew Edwards was a dynamic player, that he surpassed even his coach's expectations. Edwards just trying to throw it away. We spoke with Scott Satterfield, the quarterback coach yesterday, who calls the plays. He said it was just about a perfect game. He threw 2 incomplete passes, and that was about it. And he said it wasn't just the great numbers running and throwing against Richmond last week, but the decision making. When to throw it, when to pull it down and run. That's what impressed Scott, himself a former Appalachian State quarterback.
Well, anybody that has watched him, you might think, you look at his numbers, he can only run the football. But Sean, watching him last week and this weekend in practice, he's a very accurate passer.
And 3rd down's a key in their championship win here last year against Massachusetts. They've had a couple of key 3rd down conversions tonight. Here's another 3rd and 6. And it's designed for Edwards to keep, and that's what he can do. All the way to the 25 of Delaware, 36-yard run. And if you watched the game last Friday night, Appalachian State and Richmond, you saw that kind of play from Edwards over and over again.
And the quickness of the offensive line, pulling bodies to get in the holes. You see right there, a hat on a hat. And watch this power that we talked about. We say he's 175 pounds, but he plays like he's 225 pounds running through tackles.
And here he comes again. Gets outside the contain, has another 1st down. Near the 10, and at 175 pounds, he delivered the hit to Charles Graves. 13 yards and another Mountaineer 1st down.
I can't help laughing because I'm excited to watch a kid play. When you have a quarterback that decides to become the hitter rather than the hittee, that's just something you don't see every day. So sit back and enjoy the show. That's what I'm doing.
And for 313 last week, the all-time record for Division I quarterbacks, and the school record for anybody at Appalachian State. Broke his own single-game Mountaineer running record. Not that time. He ran into Walter Blair at the 10-yard line.
Good open field tackle by Walter Blair, his 2nd of this series. Not chasing anything from behind. If Kevin Richardson is able to get a head on him, Armani's sitting in the blue hen end zone. Good job of avoiding the blocker by Walter and making an open field tackle in space.
Well, he's way off his pace of last week. But he has already thrown for 60 and rushed for 58. Edwards has played much of the year with a shoulder injury. There's a flag down, and Tavares Washington, who gets the ball on a lot of those speed sweeps, couldn't get away. Eric Johnson, their fine middle linebacker, made the tackle. Junior from Fairport, New York, brother of Sean Johnson, who was an All-American defensive end on the national championship team for Delaware back in 2003. Loss of 6. The penalty was against Appalachian State.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 28. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Eric Johnson, unlike his brother, not highly recruited out of high school. He was a 190-pound linebacker and had to walk on. Sean Johnson and their dad pleaded with K.C. Keeler to give him a scholarship. He said no. If he pays his way on and earns the scholarship, I'll give it to him. And he earned his way very quickly. One of their best players on the team. Another 3rd down. This one in 15. End zone, incomplete. Flag down. He's thrown over the head of Hans Badishon. Their leading receiver, Marvin McKinney, had coverage. He comes in nickel and dime situations.
Yeah, Marvin had position. He does not need to hold on and grab on. Again, that's when you get in that red zone territory. A lot of times defenders panic a little bit if they see their guy coming open. They start grabbing on and they're afraid the guy's going to make a play. But another back-breaking mistake.
I just wondered if that ball was catchable.
Defense, number 38, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
See right there inside. McKinney has good position on him right there. and he kind of hooks him from the left and from the right. It's a little bit of a ticky-tack for me, but nevertheless.
A tough call. Instead of 4th down and a field goal try from Appalachian, 1st and goal, and a great chance to take a 3-touchdown lead. Richardson stuffed for a loss. Back to the 2. It's Eric Johnson again.
That's 2 plays Eric Johnson just made, and playing middle linebacker is a lot like a quarterback. You got to get into your rhythm and your flow, and once you get that first hit out of the way, like a quarterback gets his first completion out of the way, then you get it going. And right there, Eric Johnson showed why he's the leading tackler for the Blue Hen defense.
And he's been great in the playoffs. In their 3 wins in the postseason, averaging 9 tackles per game. 2nd and goal from the 2. Richardson again. Ball's out. It's in the end zone. It looks like the Mountaineers have it for a touchdown. No signal yet from the officials. It looked like Daniel Kilgore, who's in there as an extra tight end and hasn't had a catch all year, might have recovered that fumble.
They're fighting for it down there. It's a wrestling match.
Hans Badishon's convinced they have it. And they do. Everything going right for Appalachian State.
The umpire just got taken out down there. It's rough in there, but again, they're going to their money play. A good job by the Blue Hen defense, fighting for everything they can get. Mackerel had a chance to get it. He loses control. Then you see Kilgore not giving up on the play, following the play, pushing Mackerel out of the way, then securing the football for 6 for the Mounts.
Walter Blair's there officiating rather than going after the ball. But clearly Kilgore had it and apparently won the wrestling match at the bottom of the pile as well. Interesting way to score your first touchdown. That's how Kilgore did it. Sometimes he wears a interior line number and blocks inside. He's a freshman from Kingsport, Tennessee, back in his home state. Julian Roush the extra point. Well, both offenses are moving, but it's Appalachian State finding ways to get the ball into the end zone. Appalachian State has won back-to-back national titles, trying to win a 3rd. Daniel Kilgore's fumble recovery in the end zone has given them a 3-touchdown lead. Of course, they're 2-time national champs, but got more national notoriety for that opening season win at Michigan when they were the first FCS team ever to beat a ranked FBS team, and they did it on the road in the Big House against then 5th-ranked Michigan. There's been a lot of talk this week about how the Delaware helmets bear a striking resemblance to the Michigan helmets. Not lost on the Appalachian State folks. Marvin McKinney bringing back the Julian Roush kickoff. And he weaves his way to the 29-yard line. Time to take a look now at the Coke Zero game track. And Richardson, the first touchdown of the game. Took a screen, went 19 yards, just did get into the end zone. And Devin Moore, his backup, straight up the gut, 46 yards, longest run of his career for the sophomore. And a big break a moment ago. Richardson fumbling into the end zone, but Kilgore recovering. Meanwhile, Delaware has been to the goal line without scoring on a couple of opportunities. On their second possession of the game, and they've also missed a field goal. They had a touchdown called back on a replay review. Pump fake by Flacco, double coverage, and almost intercepted. Corey Lynch and Cortez Gilbert had the coverage. It was intended for Aaron Love. Flacco now 6 out of 11 for 80 yards.
There's Corey Gilbert, and here's Lynch right here coming from his free safety spot. Corey Gilbert, remembers, in for Rose, he does a good job of playing outside, knowing that inside help is coming with Corey Lynch, who has great football sense and takes great angles. Normally, he'll come up and make that catch.
Second and 10. And a pass dumped off to Cuff. And again, it's Cortez Gilbert. They'll fill in for Jose with a nice tackle. But it's good for a first down and a gain of 11 out to the 40-yard line. We spoke with John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, yesterday. He said, I'm not really worried about Gilbert. There's not a lot of drop-off from Jose. Cortez is an experienced player and a good one. It's if something happens and we need to go deeper down the depth chart, that then we have trouble. They've lost their depth because of the suspension to Jose.
And plus touchdowns, playing a little bit banged up outside on the other corner.
There's Cuff trying to turn the corner and cannot. Corey Lynch again with help from Gary Tharrington. Lynch, the All-American safety. Of course, he was the hero of the opening win against Michigan when he blocked the would-be game-winning field goal try by the Wolverines in the final second. Broke through and blocked it and then picked it up and almost ran it all the way back for a touchdown. He said he's seen that play replayed about 6,000 times by his own estimate.
I'm sure it never gets old.
Dexter Jackson was on the cover of Sports Illustrated after that win. We asked him yesterday how many of those covers he signed. He said probably 1 million, and I'm not exaggerating. Flacco. Short pass, and not enough for Mark Duncan. Very little gain there. DJ Smith made the tackle. Virtually no gain on the play.
Ready. Snap good. The hold. Oh, kick! Oh! The kick is. Oh! The Mountaineers are going to try to take it back to the big house. 20, 15. Oh! The Mountaineers have just beat the Michigan Wolverines.
And Corey Lynch has made a career out of blocking kicks. 6 career block kicks. Flacco throws, broken up. This time by Titus Howard. It was intended for Aaron Love. Delaware just can't make a big play when it needs it, and Appalachian State is doing it time and time again.
Well, the strength of the Appalachian State defense is the back four. Titus Howard again with perfect timing, arriving when the ball arrives and is able to dislodge because of the timing of the contact.
Stuart Kenworthy with his second punt. This is better than the first, which was a borderline shank. Dexter Jackson fields the punt, and he was hit early. 37-yard punt. Tyrone Grant.
A little bit of breakdown and concentration the whole first half, basically, from the Blue Hens. You have to give him room to catch the ball. Dexter Jackson actually does a great job holding under that ball under duress.
You know, they've done away with the halo. To me, he had enough room. That's a good call. Yep, pick it up. He had room to catch it. He caught it. And Grant was right there. So no flag on the play. And Appalachian State takes over. That's one of the few things that's gone right for Casey Keeler in Delaware so far. And welcome back to Chattanooga, Tennessee, the national championship game. Appalachian State takes over nearly midway through the second quarter, leading 21-0. The Mountaineers have run 22 plays. They've averaged 9.6 yards per play. They have 11 first downs on 22 plays. Richardson a short gain there, and here's Rob Stone.
Sean, back in Boone, Coach Moore has a whole box full of this stuff. Letters, congratulatory emails, pictures from that Michigan game. You know, a lot of Ohio State people and Penn State people apparently don't care for Michigan too much. This from a Penn State fan. There was probably a crowd of 1,000 plus standing around the TVs in the concession area watching your game. An Ohio State fan saying, Buckeye Nation would like to congratulate you. Got a good email after this play, Sean, to tell you about as well.
Hopefully better than those two you read. Edwards for the flag down out to the 31-yard line. Go ahead. The nation awaits, Stoner.
Are you implying you didn't like those early emails?
I assume
When did you become
thousands
the email
of emails,
critic,
there might have
my
been
friend?
a few that were tastier than that.
Yeah, they were. Well, I'm trying to keep it clean here. So we had a lot of congratulatory emails and cards from coaches. Here's one. Jerry, congratulations to you, your staff, your players, and your university. What an amazing feat and incredible accomplishment. Congratulations from our football family to your football family. Casey Keeler, head football coach, University of Delaware.
Offense, men were not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay second down.
Well, no surprise, these two classy guys who have a lot of respect for each other. That was evident during our visits with these two head coaches, each of them national championship winners.
I look at it as the football championship subdivision, formerly known as 1AA, coming together as a group and supporting what they did. That's a unifier. Taking it to the big boys.
After the penalty, 2nd and 14. Richardson was lined up out wide. They faked it to him, and Armonte Edwards went ahead for about 3. Into the arms of Eric Johnson again. And Jerry Moore said, you know, that was a great win in so many ways. But that's not what we're about, beating Michigan. We play to win national championships, first conference titles, which they won for the 3rd year in a row in the Southern Conference, and national titles. And he loves what the attention of the Michigan win has done for their school and their program, but it's almost a distraction in ways to the larger task at hand, which is winning this tonight.
Well, he told us yesterday that it's not going to die, and he's right. It's never going to die. The accomplishment that they did is something that's going to live with them forever, and the players will live with it forever, so you might as well embrace it.
As Corey Lynch said when we visited, this has not been a storybook season like a lot of people think. It's been an up-and-down ride. The 3rd down pass is knocked down by Walter Blair, and they'll have to punt for the first time. Because after they won against Michigan, they had their 30-game home winning streak snapped at the Rock when they lost to Georgia Southern. They lost at Wofford as well. At one point they were 1-2, and they had to rally to share the Southern Conference title. The Wofford got the automatic bid into these playoffs by virtue of the Terriers' head-to-head win with the Mountaineers. Young's punt returned by Aaron Love. He has shown no love. Slammed down back into his own territory. 34-yard punt, 6-yard return. Russell Wilson with a tackle on special teams for the Mountaineers. Key squad. They were the 4th seed. Northern Iowa, the number 1 seed. They only seed the top 4 out of the 16 teams in the playoffs. The numbers you see on the screen are their rankings in the polls. Delaware 13th. Appalachian State 5th. Flacco in trouble and manages to gain a couple. He had the ball ripped away, but he was down. Gary Farrington in pursuit. Tony Robertson ripped the ball out, and it's actually a gain of 1. And again, that surprising elusiveness from Flacco. Tough to get him down. He's 6'6" and change and 230.
Yeah, strong at the point of contact. When he gets hit, he's going to keep moving. The problem that the Blue Hen offense is having is there's no separation created for the Blue Hen receivers against the Appalachian State defensive backs. 0 separation. That's why he's forced to tuck and run.
Philip Thaxton, a true freshman, is in at running back. He takes a direct snap and goes down behind the line of scrimmage. Anthony Williams for a loss of about 5 on the play. Back to the 49-yard line of Delaware.
Just reading their mail, Sean, right here. Anthony Williams comes and gets penetration, and it's a done deal. Right here, just beats the block of the center for Delaware. Hendricks is able to make the tackle on a speedy wide receiver on the run.
3rd and 14. 5:13 left till halftime. 21-0 Appalachian State. Flacco throws incomplete. Looking for Love, but it was in the wrong place. Titus Howard had coverage. And here's Rob.
Well, Sean, things getting tough for the Delaware offense. I'm looking at Corey Nicholson right now on crutches. They're telling me it is a broken left ankle. Obviously, he is done. And then about 3 feet away from me, Omar Cuff, their stud running back, getting his right knee checked out. Looks like they got some tape that they're going to start working on. eyeballing it, he looks like he's going to be able to return, but certainly a major cause of concern.
Wobbly punt by Stuart Kenworthy. Dexter Jackson cannot escape. Outstanding coverage by the Fighting Blue Hens. Marvin McKinney. Loss of 7 on the return after a 34-yard punt.
Dexter Jackson, yes, we all know that he's a 200-meter champion. Right there, he trusted his speed a little bit too much. Sometimes you got to live to fight another day, put those shoulders down, and go north and south, not south and north.
Coverage of college football on ESPN2 continues Saturday afternoon at 4 Eastern Time. Mount Union and the Purple Raiders looking for another title as they take on Wisconsin Whitewater. Eric Johnson made the tackle on Kevin Richardson. No gain on the play.
A good adjustment by Nick Rapone, the defensive coordinator, forcing Appalachian State to throw the football. Now they're starting to put people in the box a little bit.
Edwards again, the ball's out late, and then Johnson takes a hit in the back from Kevin Richardson. Monty Edwards was ruled down at the 14-yard line, setting up another 3rd down for Appalachian State as the clock runs under 4 minutes remaining now in the half. There's Nick Rapone, second year as defensive coordinator at Delaware. Coached a lot of years at Temple with Bobby Wallace. Coached at University of Connecticut with Skip Holtz. Bobby Wallace knows about winning 3 straight national titles. He did it with North Alabama. Edwards nowhere near the first down marker. It's Johnson again. I'd say he's earned that scholarship. He's also gained about 40 pounds. He went from 190 out of Fairport, New York High School to 230 now.
Well, and he's getting in his groove. Right there, the defensive line did a good job of keeping the offensive line off of him, and he just flows and mirrors Armani Edwards and makes a good open field tackle in the hole and took him down right away.
Mentioned Eric's brother Sean, an All-American defensive end at Delaware on their 03 national championship team. They had another brother, Travis, who was a fine tight end at Fordham, played for Dave Clawson, now the Richmond coach. And Travis now in the Marines. He's done a tour in Iraq already and is going back early next year. Watching tonight, we believe, from Camp Lejeune. And Eric very proud of both of his brothers. Sean's pro career after he was drafted by the Oakland Raiders derailed by knee injuries, and he's trying to get in coaching.
Well, the football family and Travis and all the other armed service men and women, thank you for your service, and I know you're very proud of your brother Eric right there. Not easy to do, bring Armani Edwards down one-on-one, and Eric took care of business on that particular play.
Eric wants to get into coaching when he's done playing. He's a health and phys ed major at Delaware. You just liked him because he walked in there and said, my dad is a huge fan because he loves the Detroit Lions.
He makes some plays now and then.
Love had trouble fielding the punt. Perhaps there was interference there. Off the boot from Neil Young. Love got it back. Turned it into a 4-yard return of a 40-yard punt. It was Aaron Love making the catch, and it was Leonard Love. Perhaps a little too much love.
Yes. And again, Leonard tries to pull up on time, but does make contact before the ball is there. And I love the guts of Aaron Love wanting to catch that ball and make something happen. This is where Delaware has to make something happen on the offensive side of the ball. They need points.
We have 2:56 remaining till the half. .256 to go till the half. Excellent field position to start this possession for Delaware, in dire need of a score. Trailing 21-0 with the national championship on the line. Delaware looking for its 7th in school history, its 2nd at the FCS level. Joe Flacco trying to set up a screen, it appeared. Omar Cuff is back in the game. It was well defended. And there's a flag on the play. Daniel Finnerty was putting the heat on Flacco. He's going to get called for grounding.
DJ Smith had the coverage on Cuff. And again, John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, trusting his guys, playing man-to-man all over the field with the safety deep. You see Omar trying to sneak in there. DJ Smith right there. That's good disciplined defense, and there's no separation created anywhere.
Yeah. Edgar Dean, the umpire, came in. I believe he told the referee, Andre Lowe, that Cuff was in the neighborhood. Therefore, they picked up the flag. There's John Wiley, longtime member of the staff, 17 of the 19 years Jerry Moore's been the head coach. He's been on the staff. There's that yellow vest. It's part of a tradition they have at Appalachian State to help the players identify him on the sideline. Kirvin Mashad, the ball carrier, with another flag down. I don't think either coaching staff is going to be thrilled about some of the officiating here in the first half. John Wiley's predecessor, Ruffin McNeil, used to wear that vest to help the players identify him. And Wiley at the beginning didn't wear it. The players said they liked it.
Yeah.
Implored him to wear it, and then he goes out and parks cars after the game.
Offsides. Defense, number 46. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
He said Coach Moore bought him a real colorful yellow shirt so the players could pick him up, but that's the tradition right now, and the players don't want to change. Why change it? John Wiley's done a good job tonight, calling blitzes and mixing things up well against this potent Blue Hen offense.
You mentioned earlier the national championship won by the Mountaineers in football a couple of years ago, the first in any sport at the school, but Wiley's wife disputes that. She was on a cheerleading squad that was a national champion. Omar Cuff, but rattled short of the first down by DJ Smith. It'll be third down and about 2.
It's going to be tougher and tougher to run this ball if you don't throw it down the field.
They went quickly and might have caught Appalachian State a little off guard. Cuff has the first down, shot down by Corey Lynch, who's had an amazing year and an amazing career. An All-American for the third time, first at Appalachian State since Dexter Coakley, the hero of the Michigan win. And later this month, he will marry Sissy Graham, the granddaughter of the evangelist, the Reverend Billy Graham.
He's got great vision and feel for the game. Right there, great angle on the open field tackle on Cuff.
Likely has an NFL future. Mark Duncan, the catch at the 25-yard line. Jerome Touchstone made the tackle. There's Sissy Graham. Her dad, Franklin Graham, will be married near Asheville, North Carolina, where the Grahams hail on New Year's Eve. Corey proposed over the summer in July at the top of Grandfather Mountain near the campus in Boone. Second and 6. Flacco going for the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. There are flags down, and you wonder if Aaron Love pushed off.
That's what it looked like from here.
There are 2 flags, and the 2 officials who threw the flags are conferring. 23-yard touchdown if it stands, and this crew has done a lot of conferring here in the first half. Yep, it's coming back. Another blow to Casey Keeler in the first half, filled with one bad turn after another for the Blue Hens.
I think it's I got to let that go in a national championship game. Both guys are fighting for position. Touchstone's pushing.
Right, Touchstone has his hands on him too.
He didn't really push off. He had his hands on him. Both guys are hand fighting. You got to let him play a little bit. Right there, you saw the arm strength and the accuracy of Joe Flacco. The first ball, not off of a called play that he's completed over 10 yards down the field.
Well, they've had 2 touchdowns called back. One on a replay review, that one on a penalty. And the ball's back at the 39-yard line. Flacco, incomplete. Titus Howard broke it up. And the Delaware sideline in an uproar now. Matter of fact, some of the assistant coaches yelling at the players to stay back. And they thought that was pass interference. And I think Casey Keeler and the folks on the Delaware side are starting to feel like too many of these calls are not going their way.
Titus Howard, he's done this 3 times tonight. And again, to me, that's good defense. He's arriving when the ball's arriving, at least from that angle.
Look out. Flacco hit as he threw. It's up for grabs. It is caught. And there's a flag down. No signal if it was inbounds or out of bounds from the officials. Now they signal out of bounds. Cortez Gilbert had the coverage. And he seems to think it's going to be offensive pass interference again.
Mark Duncan right there does a good job of going up. And you might make an argument that his right foot was in bounds. The head linesman's running down to cover the side judge because he's looking at the interference.
And they're too busy throwing the flag to make a signal. I mean, is it a catch? Is he in bounds? Is he out of bounds? Is it a touchdown?
It's being reviewed.
Well, what was your call? And he still hasn't explained what the flag was. Apparently it's pass interference against Appalachian State on Cortez Gilbert. And now they'll review to see if it was a catch and should be a touchdown. And I think you're right. He might have had that 1 foot down. It's just tough to tell that he had the ball while that 1 foot was in bounds.
So the right foot looks down. Now the ref did not signal, the side judge did not signal whether it was a catch or not. The head linesman came in and ruled it incomplete, but there's the catch and the right foot. Now the question is, was the ball in his hands in possession when the right foot was on the ground in the end zone? There's the catch, and the right foot is down.
I think, don't you?
Touchdown. From this angle, from what I see, that's a touchdown. There's the catch. And watch his right foot. His right foot is inbounds
with the ball. And again, no signal. Catch, not a catch. Touchdown, not a touchdown.
Yeah, he's coming in and he's going to wave it off. The head linesman,
eventually, after they confer for the 100th time in this half. It's too bad when you get to a national championship game that the officials are so much a part of the story, but that's been the case here in the first half.
Good job of Duncan adjusting the hips, catching the ball the highest point and keeping 1 foot in bounds.
And Washington put the pressure on Flacco. Give him credit. Hanging in there again, knowing he was about to take a shot, putting into the place where Duncan could catch it. If it stands, it's the 6th touchdown of the year for the sophomore from Rockville, Maryland.
The ruling on the field is a reverse. Delaware scores the touchdown. The penalty is declined. The Delaware's tried the 3-yard line.
That's why they have the review booth in play. The proper
the
call.
Delaware folks feel like they should have had that touchdown a few plays ago, and the one that got called back for offensive pass interference. And another big play by Duncan. Mentioned earlier, Kirk Shiraka talked about his development being one of the keys to their season. And the extra point is good by John Strajewski. A much needed score for Delaware as we approach the half. 1:10 to go. 21-7 for the Mountaineers. Well, Delaware trying to repeat history. They've come from behind in each of their last 2 wins in these playoffs. Appalachian State trying to avoid repeating its history of last week. Last Friday night, if you were with us, they led by 3 touchdowns at home against Richmond. 35-14, seemed to have the game well in hand. The next thing you knew, it was 35-35 And Appalachian State was very much in a ball game that they pulled out 55-35.
Yeah, Delaware had it on an inch-yard line, couldn't punch it in, missed the field goal, left 10 points on the board. A very powerful offense that's certainly capable of coming back.
Well, the total yardage in the game is almost identical. 222 for Appalachian State and 206 for Delaware. It's just been the big plays that for the most part have not been made by the Blue Hens. Coco Hillary chopped down at the 27-yard line. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, coming up at halftime, the other team in winged helmets, Michigan, their coaching search has apparently turned to Rich Rodriguez. We'll give you the latest on that. Michigan alum Desmond Howard will tell us who he thinks the best receivers in college football were this year, and the latest on the Diamondbacks and the deals they've made in Major League Baseball. We'll see you in just a bit.
All right, Reese, thank you. We'll see how Appalachian State decides to play it here with all 3 timeouts. Just over a minute to go in the half. They come out firing. Hans Badashan, the senior from Miami, Florida, born in Haiti, came to this country as a very young boy, married with a child, and that's his 100th career catch.
The arm strength of Armani Edwards, the vision down the field, not panicking to run, staying in the pocket to throw.
Edwards going deep. One-on-one coverage. It's caught. It'll be a touchdown for Dexter Jackson. No flags.
You've heard it said, no substitute for speed. Dexter Jackson does a great job of keeping his balance, fights off the defender. Concentration. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
Marvin McKinney had the coverage. The kick is good by Julian Roush. But Dexter Jackson had only 1 catch last week, but we saw his blazing speed on that catch. It was a 52-yard catch and run, most of it on the run as he went across the field to score that touchdown. And this one is a 60-yard score. The momentum for Delaware did not last very long, just 26 seconds for the touchdown for the Mountaineers. Well, the 2-time defending national champions weren't content with a 2-touchdown lead at the half. They come out firing after they took possession of the ball with just more than a minute to go. 2 plays, 72 yards, a 60-yard touchdown strike, Edwards to Jackson, and it's back to a 3-touchdown deficit for the Blue Hens.
You know, you question the defense a little bit there. Minute 10 to go in the half. You might want to have some safety help and keep playing a little bit of a prevent. They didn't do that. They chose to go man, and they paid a price.
Marvin McKinney to the 27-yard line. Cortez Gilbert in on the coverage. 14-yard return. Let's see what Delaware does. They have all 3 of their timeouts. 39 seconds to go. And the big arm of Joe Flacco at their disposal.
I think if I'm Delaware, I start taking shots. You have the 4th-rated senior in a lot of people's eyes in the upcoming NFL draft. Let him go out and try to get points for you.
Flacco, the oldest of 6 children from Audubon, New Jersey, near Philadelphia. Accounting major, 3.0 grade point average. And he is sacked back at the 19 by Tim Washington and Gary Tharrington. Well, Tharrington stirred it up a bit this week when he was quoted saying, "I'm not very impressed with the Delaware offensive line." And he was a part of that sack.
And Washington, again, they're winning their one-on-one battles. It's tough from Delaware because these guys' ears are come back right there. You see it, read it for yourself. It's his choice to get up or not. And right now, they're not getting up. Yule's done a good job sometimes, but when you know you're going to pass, that's where you got to buckle down and hang in there on your one-on-one blocks. Tharrington beat him from the outside. Pressure from the other side equals trouble for Flacco.
Tharrington's a sophomore. From time to time, he'll come off the field. John Wiley, the defensive coordinator, told us, and you can see it watching the tape, looking like he's injured, won't come back in. The next play, he's back in, making a big play. They'd like him to weigh a little bit less But John Wiley said you cannot argue with the effort of Tharrington. He is all out on every play.
I'm seeing that tonight, just watching him and kind of having my ISO camera on him right here in my eyes. The thing you'd like him to do is get that little bit of a, maybe take a tough pill, mental tough pill to hang in there when you're tired.
Delaware used its first timeout. They put time back on the clock. 29 seconds left. And Flacco out of the gun. Huff stayed in the block. And it is caught by the tight end, Josh Baker. And a tough run after the catch. Out to the 47. 27-yard gain.
And remember, Strajewski's limit as far as field goal goes about 47 yards.
That's their second charge timeout of the half.
Oh, Delaware fans boo. I believe the referee Andre Lowe said timeout Delaware State. And you can understand why he'd say that. He's a MEAC official. Delaware State, the champions of the MEAC this year. But there is a big difference between Delaware and Delaware State. As a matter of fact, that's one of the storylines of these NCAA playoffs this year. Delaware State and Delaware met in the first round of the playoffs in Newark. First time they've ever played in football. And for a lot of years, particularly the Hornet fans, have been trying to get a game with the Blue Hens. Finally, the NCAA made them play. And the good part of that is starting probably in 2012, they're going to make it a regular rivalry.
Well, I think it should. I mean, that defines college football. We talked to Casey Keeler about this. He said absolutely he wants to play them, and it's great for the state, and it's great for college football in general.
Flacco throws short to Mark Duncan, alertly to the sideline, and I believe he got the first down as well. Stopped the clock at the 43-yard line, 12 seconds and one timeout. And Strajewski, as Chris said, went along a 47. He's kicked a 47-yard field goal in each of the last 2 weeks.
Ball would have to get to about the 30-yard line.
They need about 12 more. Flacco has that 12 and a couple extra on the completion to Aaron Love, who's playing with two bad shoulders and a sports hernia. Coach has said he's in so much pain most of the time. He has limited practice during the week. Well, they have the timeout. They're going to run another play. And now they decide that's too risky, and they used the timeout. They were running the risk if they ran another play of the half ending without even the field goal attempt.
See Casey Keeler right there. Now you got to make sure you get your field goal. 4 seconds left.
Or will he take a shot at the end zone here? It doesn't look like he's made a definitive move. Strajewski's still over by the net. Coach Keeler calls John Strajewski the most improved player in the history of college football. He's a walk-on from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. His only kick prior to this year was 2 years ago when he had to kick out of necessity. They suspended their starting kicker on the morning of the game. He tried a PAT that never got above the crossbar. Then the holder, Joe Blameyer, who was a terrific wide receiver, ruptured his spleen while catching a pass. They didn't have the holder of the starting kicker, so they didn't try another point after. And Strajewski was an afterthought all of last year, but he became their kicker this year and has become an All-American. They put 8 seconds on the clock, and Delaware's going to run another play on 1st and 10. They're in field goal range. There's very little wind in the stadium tonight. Flacco with time running out. This is going to be the last play of the half. He might as well throw it to the end zone. He doesn't quite get it there, and it's dropped by Love. And a fitting ending to an agonizing first half for the Delaware Blue Hens. Yeah, that's the appropriate response from Delaware fans. And here's Rob Stone.
Coach, a challenging first half for your program.
A little bit. Just didn't get some breaks early on. We got to make our own breaks. Had an opportunity to get a touchdown there. We didn't get it. Thought that was a big part of the game. They're very good, obviously. We got to learn to stop that quarterback. You know, we get some pressure on. He's eluding us and making some plays downfield. But we got to calm our guys down and go play.
How do you calm them down?
You know, we've been through this before. We've been down on the road, and you know, in a big ball game, you just can't get caught up with the outcome. You got to get caught up with playing the next play. So we'll be fine.
How did that last late big Appalachian State touchdown affect what you're going to tell your team in the halftime?
That was huge. With 21-7, you obviously are in a great position to get right back into it. But now we just got to keep on playing. I mean, there's no other solution but to keep playing.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Guys.
At the half in this national championship game, Appalachian State leads Delaware 28-7. Time now for the halftime report. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, so 28-7 lead for Appalachian State as they try to become the first team to three-peat in the championship subdivision. Desmond Howard alongside. Desmond, that final play was pretty much a microcosm of how things have gone wrong for Delaware. They've come close, but they didn't get things done, particularly on the drive when they got right down inside the 1-yard line. Couple opportunities to score and didn't get it done. So maybe curious play calling, particularly on the second play. Take us through those last two.
Yeah, well, they had an opportunity to score and tie the ball game 7-7. So the strength of the offense for Delaware is to the right. So what does Coach Keeler do? He decides to run to the left. He said, I'm going to trick them. Runs it to the left. They actually lost a yard. So now it's 4th and goal. Strength is to the right. What does he do? Run a play action pass to the left, and nothing develops. A guy was held for a second. They didn't call it. The quarterback loses ground, incompletion, an opportunity to tie the game 7-7. They walk away with no points. So that really hurt them.
What do you think they should have done on the 4th down play?
I think he should have rolled the quarterback out. He shouldn't have did a play action pass where he drops him back because you don't have but one option. That's to throw the ball. But if you can roll the quarterback out, if the guys are covered up, then he at least has the option to run in and try to score a touchdown that way.
Okay, so as it is, nothing worked out for Delaware. And even when they got back in at Appalachian State, hit them with another big play, 28-7. Now the Mountaineers just 30 minutes of football away from their 3rd straight national championship. Still to come here at halftime. Well, winged helmets, could they be in the future for Rich Rodriguez? We'll give you the latest. Morgantown in a bit. The potent Appalachian State offense putting up 28 in the first half from Monty Edwards to Kevin Richardson, and the speed of the Mountaineers has them just 1 half away from a 3rd straight national championship. Glad to have you with us here at halftime of the football championship subdivision title game between the Mountaineers and the Blue Hens. Of course, we're just a few days away from the start of the bowl season. The field of 64 making it in to the Bowl Championship Series subdivision postseason play. And if you look at the bowl games and the bowl schedule, Desmond, what's the best non-BCS bowl in your opinion?
Well, I think the best non-BCS bowl will probably be Michigan versus Florida. That game should be very exciting. Michigan's had some time now to heal itself. Of course, Chad Henne had the bad shoulder, and Mike Hart had the bad ankle. So I'd like to see what they can do. But the flip side is, what can that defense do against the Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Tebow? Now, this kid has been fabulous all season. Really hasn't played a bad game all season. And we know he has Percy Harvin out there on the edge. These guys are excellent, great in space.
They actually gave him a trophy for playing so well, too, Tim Tebow. I mean, who was the best matchup, Desmond?
I think the best matchup to see Ohio State's defense against LSU's 2-quarterback system. How can they stop Ryan Perrilloux? The last time they saw a quarterback like that was against Illinois, and we know what he did. He was able to control the game late in the 4th quarter by rushing the ball.
And how about the player to watch in bowl season?
I want to see Rashad Mendenhall. Now, he's one of the best rushers in the country. He had over 1,500 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns, and averaged 6 yards per carry. But what would he do against that strong Trojan defense and that linebacking core that they boast?
All right, it's time to put the heat on somebody. Which coach is under pressure?
I think you got to go to Tennessee. Look at Coach Phil Fulmer. Now, there were rumblings about him earlier being fired because they hadn't been to an SEC game. They got to the SEC championship game this year, but lost to LSU. He's lost 3 of his last 4 bowl games. He's 7-7 in bowl games. This is going to be big, see if he can beat Wisconsin.
And not only that, he's about to lose his offensive coordinator, David Cutcliffe, who's been back with Fulmer for the last couple of years after his head coaching stint at Ole Miss. And what has been reported, an on again, off again, on again, I guess, type of deal with Duke. Reported earlier today, Cutcliffe was in at Duke. Duke said it has not quite been done, and now sources saying that he will be introduced as the head football coach at Duke tomorrow. David Cutcliffe, who had a pretty good run with Eli Manning at Ole Miss, taking over that program. But who will take over Michigan? Could it be Rich Rodriguez? Reportedly went to Northern Ohio to meet with Michigan officials on Friday to discuss the Wolverines' vacancy. Now, when Rodriguez got back to Morgantown and was questioned about it, simply said, "Going to practice, I'm going to practice." You see what a remarkable job Rodriguez has done in turning around the West Virginia program. His record is spectacular, and just one poor performance keeping them out of the national championship game this year. Do you see this? Do you see this being the right fit for Michigan?
That's a tough call right now because people normally think, is it the right fit? They think X's and O's. What type of offense is he going to run? What type of defense is he going to bring? But it's bigger than that, especially the job at Michigan. How does this coach work with the compliance department? How does he work with assistant coaches? And what's his recruiting record like? Can he recruit the whole nation? When I was at Michigan, I mean, we had players all the way from Florida and California. So can he recruit the whole country as well? And then you get to the X's and O's. So it's still tough to say if it's going to be a great fit or not.
It will be a different level of recruiting, I think, for Rodriguez, but he has had to spread out. There was a time last year when there were only 2 players in the NFL who hailed from the state of West Virginia, smaller state. Rodriguez has had to cast a wider net, but certainly not the type of net you're able to cast at Michigan. A couple of other interesting aspects here, I think. Rodriguez, of course, turned down the Alabama job last year, got a contract extension, a commitment to improve facilities, and as part of that contract deal, the buyout reportedly $4 million. You'll also remember that Michigan just hired West Virginia's basketball coach, John Beilein, and the buyout ended up being, it was 2.5 in the contract, ended up being at 1.5. So should this come to fruition, West Virginia's helping bankroll their athletic program by letting Michigan hire their coaches away, I guess. But still in the very early stages, just a report that Rodriguez has talked to Michigan. Nothing further than that at this time. All right, still to come here at halftime. Desmond and I will talk wide receivers. Not many, no wide receivers better than the former Heisman Trophy winner who sits to my left. Best guys catching the football and the traits that make them that way. Coming up. Louisville wide receiver Mario Urrutia is going to skip his senior season, and the 6'6" target's going to enter the NFL draft. He caught 35 passes, just over 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had an injury-riddled season this year in what has been a disappointing run for the Cardinals in Steve Cragthorpe's first year. So Braum out of there, and Urrutia is going with him. Urrutia has a pretty good resume, but nothing like Desmond. Is contractually obligated to show this catch every time Desmond's on TV. 4th and 1 to beat Notre Dame. It certainly was a great grab back then. Some modern-day snags coming up.
He caught touchdown!
What a catch! One-handed catch! What a completion for a touchdown!
Touchdown! What a catch on the play! Diving reception! A beautiful catch, and it's a touchdown!
He finds a man in the end zone! Touchdown! Oh, what a catch! One-handed!
And a great grab that time.
And it is caught! Wow, what a catch! An incredible grab! Oh, the circus came to Minnesota!
Oh, what a grab!
You still in good enough shape to do that?
Oh, man, I don't know. I may pull a hammy.
Okay, out of all of the receivers in the country, Desmond, who has the best hands?
I think you have to go to Oklahoma. I like Malcolm Kelly. This kid is 6'4", but he makes catches that little guys make because he has so much confidence in his hands. Now, he told me when he was younger, his father would never let him play with a ball bigger than his hands, so he would never catch it with his chest. He forced him to catch it with his hands, and as he grew older, he played with bigger balls, but it gave him the confidence to catch it with his hands, and now he's a spectacular, probably one of the best natural catchers in college football.
He has had a great year, and Sam Bradford grateful for all those drills that Kelly's father put him through. How about the best route runner?
I like Mario Manningham up in Ann Arbor. This kid right here spends more time behind cornerbacks than safeties. He's a great artist on the double move, but he runs great intermediate routes too. What I like about Mario is that once he gets open, he knows how to track the ball down. Now, he struggled this year because of the quarterback play wasn't consistent with the injuries to Chad Henne.
Who gets that yak? Yards after catch.
Oh, man, Percy Harvin. This guy's used down there in Gainesville in many different positions because he's so good with the ball in his hands in the open field. He's very elusive and extremely hard to tackle. But then there's another guy, we're number 1. My man, Deshaun Jackson out in Cal. He's just as elusive, especially at the wide receiver position, but then watch him return punts. He's a threat.
All right, put it all together. Who's the best?
I think you got to go with Michael Crabtree, the Biletnikoff Award winner down at Texas Tech. This kid is only a freshman, but he's been on fire the whole year, scoring 21 touchdowns, 125 catches, and over 1,800 yards receiving. I like Michael Crabtree. He's just a natural, and like I say, he's a freshman, so he's only going to get better.
All of those numbers you mentioned led the nation. Remarkable freshman campaign in that Mike Leach offense. You know, nobody ever says that a receiver is a system receiver. They always beat up on the quarterback and say they're a system quarterback.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I don't know why, but they do that a lot. I mean, I think a guy like Michael Crabtree, he will flourish in any system because he runs very good routes. Obviously, he has great hands, and he has a lot of speed. So he knows how to get open.
Get a chance to see Texas Tech in the Gator Bowl coming up a little bit later on and against Virginia, and see if he can put up those kinds of numbers against that Cavalier defense. We still got a second half to go from Chattanooga. Joe Flacco had one touchdown pass. It was the only time Delaware got on the board, thanks to Mark Duncan.
Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Prime Time. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in high definition and presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Back in Chattanooga, 45 degrees. A very pleasant night for football as we get ready for the second half. National championship on the line. Appalachian State leads Delaware 28-7 as we check out the Home Depot coaching adjustments, Mr. Spielman.
Well, the Blue Hens did a better job of stopping the run, but when they have on-block players, you can't let the guy run through the middle untouched. It looked like they got a little bit confused. And right here, we talk about mental adjustments. Mental error right here. You're going to see two safeties right there playing back-to-back toward the end of the half. You got Dexter Jackson running deep without safety help. A mental error on the run and a mental error on the pass. Cost them 14 points.
And statistically, and really as you watch the first half, it was a pretty even half. Delaware had only 43 fewer total yards. They actually had a little bit of an edge in time of possession, but it was really a half of big plays. Appalachian State made them, and Delaware had a lot of things not go its way.
Well, yeah, in defense, they eliminate the mistakes, and on offense, you got to be able to finish. They got the ball in the red zone numerous times. They couldn't convert a field goal. They had a third and inches to go. Appalachian State had a great goal line stand. You leave 13 points on the field, it's going to be tough to beat a team with this talent.
Delaware kicks off to begin the second half. And Che Elder returns the kickoff. Or check that. Brandon Knox, one of the up men, returned the kickoff. 18 yards. Here's Rob Stone.
Jerry Moore, the head coach of Appalachian State, was kind enough to let me into the locker room at halftime. He told me yesterday, Rob, you're going to be very underwhelmed. He was right. Very calm locker room in there, kind of run by the players. They were the ones doing most of the speaking, but two little nuggets to pick out. One on defense. The key line, pressure is the key for offense. Mix it up and look for more throws on first down, guys.
Well, I can't believe Rob said that. And here's Jerry Moore, one of the nicest guys we know, in or out of coaching. And he's become Rob's pal. He lets Rob in his office last week for a feature that we did. He was in the coach's hotel yesterday. Deep ball, and Richardson was open. It was over his head. Edwards had a touchdown if it was on the money. He lets him in the locker room, and that's how Rob rewards his pal, Coach Moore.
Well, he does, and, you know, Coach Moore was honest with him. Throws on first down. Why? Because Delaware has got to commit to stopping the run. How do you loosen that up? You send Kevin Richardson matched up with Eric Johnson, the linebacker. You convert, like you said, Sean. That was touchdown all over it.
Edwards was 4 out of 6 in the first half for 132 yards. 4 completions, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. They don't throw it much, but when they have, it's been for big plays tonight. TJ Corman, a nice catch, sophomore from both with North Carolina. Short of the first down, but close to it. About 9, out near the 49-yard line. Edwards was the leading rusher for the team in the first half at 67 yards, averaged 6 yards per carry. It's actually a little under his season average. He averages 6.8 yards per rush. Third and 1. And it's Edwards, and they trip him up. It's Eric Johnson. Another very nice play. He was arguably the best player on the field for Delaware in the first half.
Right there, he makes a great play. Why? Because he doesn't even honor the fake to Richardson and just comes in and makes a great open field tackle and a huge stop by the Blue Hen defense to get on a 3 and out.
And some hesitation here before Jerry Moore sent the punting unit out. The offensive players wanted to go for it. But leading by 3 touchdowns at midfield, this seems to be the prudent call. Neil Young. A high punt. And a fair catch made by Aaron Love. 36-yard boot. So here comes Joe Flacco. First possession of the second half for Delaware. We'll take a look at some first half statistics. As we mentioned, statistically a pretty even game. But 9.8 yards per play. A huge number for Appalachian State.
And look at those rushing yards. Delaware was held to -3 rushing yards into the second quarter. But they do have the firepower to get back in this game, and with Omar Cuff and Flacco, a lot of football to be left on the field.
The key sequence of the game might have been very early when Appalachian State led 7-0. Delaware drove. It looked like they'd scored a tying touchdown. They reviewed it. Cuff was ruled correctly by the replay official down just short of the goal line. On a second down carry, they had 3rd and goal from inches from the goal line, did not get it in, and threw incomplete on 4th down. And did not score. Cuff the carry on 1st down here for 3 yards. Omar up to 57 yards rushing on 14 carries. The average is 133 yards per game rushing. Flacco out of the gun. 1st down. Love again. Love's at 4 catches. Flacco's now 14 for 24 passing. 9-yard gain. And we take you back, if you joined us late, to the first quarter. Appalachian scored. Looked like Delaware had answered. Originally signaled a touchdown, but on the review, Cuff correctly ruled down with his elbow just shy of the goal line. They did not get it in. Ran on 3rd down, threw an incomplete pass on 4th and goal with inches to go for a touchdown. Jerome Touchstone breaks up this throw intended for Mark Duncan.
And that's the challenge that Delaware has in the second half, is getting separation with their perimeter people against Appalachian State's perimeter people. It didn't happen in the first half. When they did catch the ball downfield, it was great catches, great throws, but still pretty darn good coverage.
Well, you have to be impressed by Flacco. Some forecasts have him projected as a 2nd-round draft pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Had some good quarterbacks at Delaware. Flacco almost had that one intercepted. He was under pressure and was content to throw it away. It was in the direction of Pierre Banks. Mel Kiper has Flacco rated as the 4th best NFL prospect among the senior quarterbacks, behind only Matt Ryan of Boston College, Louisville's Brian Brom, and Andre Woodson from Kentucky.
Wow. Mel's great at what he does, but you're telling me Colt Brennan couldn't play here?
Well, he likes Colt Brennan. He just likes this guy more. Flacco trying to run on 3rd and 10, gets about 8. Corey Lynch chopped him down. And I think if you're Casey Keeler, you have to think about going for this. I know it's on your own 37-yard line, but he told us yesterday, I'm a go for it on 4th down kind of guy. You're 3 touchdowns down in the second half against a team that scores with great regularity and has averaged almost 10 yards per play tonight.
Well, yeah, I think he thought about it for a second. He looks at 11:52 in the 3rd quarter. His defense got a 3 and out the last series. Hopefully they can repeat and create some type of field position for the offense.
Kenworthy punts, and it's down at the 33-yard line, just a 30-yard kick by the junior from Washington, D.C. So each team has punted once here in the 3rd quarter. No FCS team has ever won 3 straight national championships. Appalachian State trying to be the first to do it. Maybe the first Division I program this level or FBS to win 3 in a row since Army in the mid-40s. And if they win it tonight, they will have paid a physical price. Armani Edwards got drilled by Walter Blair, but held on and wound up with a 7-yard gain.
Well, this is what Delaware's defense has to do, is establish some physical presence. Walter Blair was able to take the helmet off of Armani.
Movement on both sides, and flags fly. It'll be offside against Delaware. These officials, as we said, are from the MEAC. They had a sometimes difficult
Offside.
first half.
Defense, number 11, made contact with the offensive player. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
We are told that the officials for the championship game are done on a rotating basis. Each conference.
First down.
Thank you. Gets a shot at it about every 8 years. The Colonial was scheduled to officiate this final, but because Delaware is out of the Colonial Athletic Association, the MEAC crew got moved up 1 year. I don't know why the officials have to be on a rotation basis. I mean, if the players and coaches are here on merit, should it be the best officials, not the officials whose turn it is to be here tonight? Richardson carries for a short game.
I agree with you, Sean. I mean, I think it's a reward system. You do a good job, you're evaluated, then you want the best out of best no matter what conference, MEAC, Southern, whatever conference, Colonial, then you should be here refereeing the football game.
These teams work so hard to get here. I think they have a right to expect the best possible officiating when they get here as well. Armani Edwards going deep. Dexter Jackson, it's batted down. Freddie Andrews swatted it away. Jackson behind the defense. Looked like he might have another long touchdown.
He had him. And that's probably the first poorly thrown football by Armani Edwards tonight. Underthrowing Dexter Jackson. And you got to understand, when you got the Southern Conference 200-meter champion, go ahead. If you're long, you're never wrong. Try to let him outrun that football.
Well, we told that story last week. Dexter Jackson filled us in on a few more of the details when we visited with him yesterday. We'll relate that story in a moment. First, a 3rd down and 8. Edwards has time, has Batashon for a first down into Delaware territory. Matt Margarell spins him down at the 35, 18 yards and a first down for Batashon. Talked last week about Dexter Jackson. A few of his teammates were out around the football field last spring. John Weaver, the legendary track coach at Appalachian State, invited the football team to put 4 players together and run a 4x100 relay against his 4x100 track squad. Jerome Touchstone, Boris Washington, James Hill joined Dexter Jackson. Dexter ran the second leg and apparently blew away the second leg of the Appalachian State relay team. So not only was he invited to participate in an upcoming meet, they ran the 100 meters, 200 meters, qualified for the Southern Conference meet 2 weeks later. So with 2 weeks of practice, he won the 200 meters in the Southern Conference at a time of 21:01, ran the 110.44. He's been timed in the 40 in football equipment at 4.33.
Well, and that's why he has the attention of some NFL scouts. The other thing is his return ability. And the thing that I love about him, especially on punt returns, you don't see the kid fair catch. He's got the guts and the determination to make a big play every time he gets his hands on the football.
Appalachian State driving. Edwards with a run look. Turns it into a design pass and threw incomplete. Looked like it was catchable for Coco Hillary. Well, Dexter Jackson is a wing T wide receiver in high school. They don't get a lot of balls. He said he caught 30 in high school, and that's a lot. But like a lot of these players, not highly recruited, in part because the position they played in high school didn't give them the greatest opportunity perhaps to demonstrate their skills.
When you look at one of the great players in Appalachian State history, Kevin Richardson, a former walk-on player. The talent level and the ability for Coach Moore developing the walk-on program for the Mountaineers certainly leads to some depth and talent coming to play for the Mountaineers.
He hopes it's an in-state school. It's not as expensive to walk on as it might be other places. Richardson for a first down inside the 25. We saw the graphic Dexter Jackson on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He mentioned earlier, he said he estimates he signed about 1 million of those Sports Illustrated covers. He told us yesterday, every Monday, he goes to the football office and the football secretary has a huge stack of covers of that Sports Illustrated that he signs, and he does it week after week, and he also does a lot of it on his own time as well.
Well, I got news for Dexter. He's going to be doing that the rest of his life. So get plenty of Sharpies, Dexter. We're going to need them.
On 1st and 10. Richardson, the former walk-on, weaves for about 3. For a preview of every NCAA national championship, including tomorrow's Division II and III football championships, go to NCAAsports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Great championship weekend in college athletics. The soccer's ongoing, volleyball action this weekend. Division II, Valdosta State and Northwest Missouri State. Division III, Mount Union of Ohio against Wisconsin Whitewater. Devin Moore, a 46-yard touchdown run in the first half. Gets 3 yards to the 18. And a third down and upcoming, third and little more than 3. And they're taking a lot of time off the clock for this possession. Down to 8 minutes left, third quarter.
Yeah, that's the point you were making. I mean, if you're the Blue Hen defense, you punt the football hoping to get the 3 and out. And right now, Appalachian State's offense has you on your heels a little bit because they're able to pound the football inside.
10th play of the drive, a big third down and 4. Edwards runs. Edwards chopped down in the open field again by Eric Johnson. Now you understand why Coach Keeler and Nick Rapone, the defensive coordinator, talk about his great instincts. Say physically he's limited, not the biggest, not the fastest, but both Keeler and Rapone said he has the best instincts of any linebacker they've coached.
And he sees it right here. He's trying to play run and pass. Appalachian State spreads receivers all over the field just to open up running lanes, and normally Armani Edwards will win that one-on-one play in space.
Going for it on 4th down when a field goal would make it a 24-point lead, and they get it. Looked like they had a great shot to get Richardson behind the line. He slithered for a first down. The drive continues, and the clock will continue to run. And it looks like Casey Keeler keeps looking up at that clock already, realizing that it is not the ally of the Blue Hens.
Good patience right there by Richardson. Almost let the surge of the defensive line past him and kind of just protects that football because he did fumble early on a short yardage situation and is able to lunge forward. But good vision and patience by the veteran running back.
He fumbled into the end zone. And Appalachian State recovered for a score. Richardson bounced back after he got inside the 10, ran into Walter Blair, who's also had a very good game at linebacker. Anthony Bratton in on the play as well.
Every time you look up on a running play, it seems like, oh, they got stopped there, they got stopped there. The only problem is if you're a Blue Hen defender, it's 4 and 5 yards down the field every single time.
Edwards keeps and gets a yard, and that's it. Bratton swings him down with help from Blair, and Anthony Walters, the corner, there as well.
One of the things about defending Armani Edwards, you see guys aren't even honoring the fake. You have Bratton and Walter Blair coming, Walters. Now the Blue Hens are starting to play and fight. One thing they're going to do is not let Armani beat him inside, where Armani's done most of his damage, and all of the running backs have done most of their damage, is right at the heart of that defense up the middle.
3rd down and 5. More than 6 minutes on this drive. It's the 14th play of the drive. Edwards has a man wide open. Touchdown, Kevin Richardson. And a flag thrown for unsportsmanlike conduct, undoubtedly. With that bit of showmanship after the score.
Mountaineers repel you. Walter Blair, the closest defender that's supposed to have man coverage. The corner leaves. Walter Blair does not go out and keep even space with Kevin Richardson. And just pitch and catch from Armani to Kevin. Just hand the ball to the official. You've been here before.
Well, last week it was Edwards who did a flip into the end zone, got flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct, and that was a big play. That set up a Richmond
Number
score.
28, 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Touchdown stand.
Figured they would have learned their lesson after last week. Say the ball to the official. You guys are two-time defending national champions. It's not needed.
They're done it with a lot of class. They don't need to be involved in that kind of nonsense. An extra point up and good by Julian Roush. Terrific drive. 14 plays, 67 yards. They took nearly 7 minutes off the clock. 6:48 to be precise, and a touchdown, 8 yards. Edwards to Richardson.
Division I National Championship game of ESPN.
And one of the great attractions here in the scenic city, Chattanooga, Tennessee, the aquarium. More than 12,000 fresh and saltwater animals on display in 2 buildings. 35-7 Appalachian State. Kickoff from the 15 after the penalty to Richardson for unsportsmanlike conduct after his touchdown. Irvin Mashad boxed the kickoff around a bit, brought it back to the 36. Here's Rob Stone.
Sean, Coach Jerry Moore, usually a very calm, docile figure on the sideline. In fact, the only time I've really heard him bark, speak up tonight was after that foul on Mr. Richardson. He went after him not once, not twice, 3 separate conversations Coach Moore had with Richardson, and the kind of respect these players and this staff has for Coach Moore. Richardson just looked him dead in the eye, nodded his head, yes sir, yes coach. Jerry Moore may not talk a whole lot, but he has their attention at all times.
When you talk about it, it hurt him last week, and that's why he's trying to coach. He's always going to coach, and he's proven a point. Make team decisions, not individual decisions.
It hurts the team, and he wants to have a team that conducts itself with class, and they do, for the most part. Omar Cuff, the ball carrier, and 1st and 10. He gets 5 for Delaware. And here's the play last week. Armani Edwards, after an electrifying touchdown run, does the flip, gets called for unsportsmanlike conduct, and it helped lead to a Richmond touchdown.
This, again, decision. Armani can't be doing flips, one thing. For the penalty, 2, you better stay healthy.
Flacco, after a good fake, has a man open, and it was not an accurate throw for the tight end Josh Baker, who got spinning around. There's a good fake, and Baker was open deep down the field, but the throw was not on target from Joe Flacco.
It looked like Josh Baker almost stopped his route. He kind of turned around too early looking for the football. You just keep running, because I promise you, you're not going to outrun Flacco's arm.
Third down and 4. I didn't think this would be 4-down territory, but after the last punt, can't be certain. Love ruled down at the 50-yard line. 8 yards and a 1st down.
A simple little hitch route right here. This is the timing, but to be honest with you, the Mountaineer defense will be content in giving up the 5-yard hitch all day long.
One was Cortez Gilbert who made the tackle. A young man who started in place of Justin Wose, a 4-year starter who was suspended for a violation of team rules. Flacco's pass incomplete. Gilbert has done a very nice job holding this high-powered attack of Delaware to just 7 points so far. The Blue Hens average 37 points per game, and they're 11th in the country in passing at 286 yards per game.
I think the whole defense and John Wiley's done a great job. Obviously, the defenders have been great cover guys, but they're getting pressure with their front four every single down.
On 2nd and 10, Flacco got it off to Love, his 6th catch of the night. It's going to get him around 100 yards receiving as he goes for a first down to the 36-yard line. 14 yards. Here's Reese Davis, a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
All right, Sean, apparently a new leading candidate for the Michigan job is Rich Rodriguez of West Virginia. Reports saying he talked to Michigan officials, though Coach Rod denied or declined to comment on that report. On the day that the Diamondbacks got Dan Herron from the A's, they traded closer Jose Valverde to the Astros for 3 players. SportsCenter after the game. Stay current, ESPN News.
Of course, the Delaware folks have been following the Michigan coaching search. Appalachian State has called a timeout during the week. Matter of fact, Wednesday, while Casey Keeler's team was here in Chattanooga, there were broadcast reports that were picked up by print media as well that Casey Keeler is under consideration to be the head coach at the University of Michigan. He says no one has contacted him, nor has he reached out to Michigan. He said it's an honor to be mentioned for a job like that, but he's a Delaware man. It's always been his dream job to coach here at Delaware, and he's very happy. But he said he didn't want it to be a distraction, so he said to his team the other night, just so you know, there'll be a story about this. There isn't anything to it. And he said the players said, that's great, Coach. Can we go to dinner now? They didn't seem particularly distracted by it.
Well, and you take a look at Michigan. I mean, it wouldn't be unprecedented. Obviously, you and I had this discussion off camera about Ohio State. When Coach Cooper left, they looked to the FCS division and hired Jim Tressel. And
it was one AA then.
Yeah, thank you, from Youngstown State. But you mentioned, and rightfully so, that Coach Tressel put his time in as assistant at Division I schools.
Mark Duncan the catch. Delaware on the drive. Going down to the 28-yard line with 1 yard to go for a first down. Well, when you coach 15 years and 7 times you've been in a national championship game, that's a pretty good record. Started out at Amherst College. So he got a great taste of rivalry football in that Amherst-Williams game every year. Then to Rowan. Worked with John Bunning. Then 9 years as the head coach. 5 times in the national title game, went 0 for 5, so I got tired of the analogies to the Buffalo Bills. But in his 6th year at his alma mater, he's already won a national championship and playing for another tonight. And they're going to get a late hit. Love was hit by Touchstone. And that'll move the chains. DJ Smith again with pressure on Joe Flacco.
This is where Appalachian State has to keep their composure again. 2:51 less in the 3rd quarter. Delaware does have a high-powered offense. You want to keep them out of the end zone because Joe Flacco and his talented group of skilled positions.
Personal foul, 6-6 defense, 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
6 on touchdown. Yeah, touchdown. It wasn't a vicious hit.
No. It was a love tap.
Yeah.
But it was clearly late. Ball long gone. Love, by the way, with his night, is over 1,000 yards receiving for the season. He has 98 yards receiving tonight on 6 catches. So Delaware in the red zone, and it's Cup. Oh boy, head-to-head contact it appeared. He bounced off it. Down inside the 7-yard line. Ran into Titus Howard.
See Omar Cuff right here, just the power. When Titus came up there, Titus normally is going to be the hitter. Omar looks a little angry running the second half, the theater major.
Yeah, he is a theater major. He says he prefers not to be the actor. He likes to be behind the scenes, stage managing, set construction, that sort of thing. When he's done at Delaware, he wants to work on cars, own a body shop. 2nd and 2. Flacco flushed. needs to do something. He can't take a sack, and he gets away again and throws it away.
There's the comparison to Ben Roethlisberger. Turn on your TV sets on Sunday afternoon. You see Big Ben do that play after play. Again, the strength of Joe Flacco. So right here, he has Omar Cuff in the flat right now. Jacques Roman is late on the coverage. If he delivers that ball to him, Omar, with his running ability, could get it in there. Then you'll see the power and strength.
Wow. Boy. He knew his own talents, got away with it for a long time. Looked like a very poor decision. Cuff straight up the middle for a first down inside the 4. They're poised to score, but the clock keeps on ticking. Under 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and Appalachian State with a 4-touchdown lead. If you were Delaware, would you be a little quicker in and out of the huddle here? I mean, it's a nice drive, but there doesn't seem to be much urgency.
I think, yes, I would be a little bit of sense of urgency right now, and the injured player certainly plays to the favorite, but absolutely, I think you're down 4 touchdowns. You got something called. You start calling plays 2, 3 at a time.
And you say in and out of the huddle, but they're not huddling, but they're also not hurrying either. Now Ruggiero is in as a blocker in front of Cuff in the eye. First and goal. Cuff near the 1. Minute and a half to go. And the clock running here in the third quarter. Omar Cuff was recruited as a defensive back. Delaware, his only scholarship opportunity. And it took injuries to others to have him shifted over to offense. When he got a chance, he never relinquished it. And he appears to have a touchdown. No signal from the officials yet. Delaware players saying touchdown, and now the officials concur. Touchdown with 54 seconds left in the third.
Southern Delaware just going back to the I formation. They run a little power O scheme. Big offensive guard pulling it around from the left side. John Herman clearing away for Omar Cuff, who knows how to find the end zone.
Extra point good from Strajewski. It's a 3-score game. Yankees won 3 straight in the 90s. Army, the last Division I football team to do it in the mid-40s. Len Davis and Doc Blanchard. And Appalachian State with a chance to add its name to the list of 3-peaters. Already defeated Michigan this year, won their 3rd straight Southern Conference title, which they shared with Wofford. Now a chance to win their 3rd straight national title. Of course, it's happened at some of the lower divisions of college football. Mount Union, the dynasty in Division III. We mentioned earlier North Alabama, Bobby Wallace's teams in the mid-90s in D2. Augustana in Division III back in the 80s. Coco Hillary returns the kickoff for Appalachian State. And Chris, you made the point during the break. Another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to Appalachian leads to another touchdown for their opponent.
And that's not a Jerry Moore coach football team. And again, he'll take that time and teach that lesson. But this is important for Delaware right now. And what do you have to do? You have to put your onus on your secondary. You've got to commit to stopping the run. You got to have the feeling that Appalachian State will take their shots downfield, because if I'm saying it, they know that the Blue Hen defense is thinking it, and then you take your shots down the field to see if you can expose them.
Final minute of the third quarter. Delaware had too many men on the field. There is a flag down.
Legal substitution. 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. Remaining first down.
Number 6, Brian Brown, was not supposed to be in the ball game. He ran off late, but the officials caught him.
On 1st and 5, Edwards. The fake one way, and then the screen for Richardson is incomplete. Not a real accurate throw by Armonte Edwards.
Nice call. That's where they scored their first touchdown, on that same exact play. And why you run a screen in that particular situation, because you're anticipating the strong aggressive rush and push by the defensive line. Had it set up nice if they would have completed the pass.
They don't have an offensive coordinator. Jerry Moore likes them to share the responsibilities as a staff. He coached for Tom Osborne in Nebraska, and so that's the way it was for many years with the Cornhuskers. Walter Blair tackles Armonte Edwards, but Scott Satterfield, the quarterbacks coach, calls the plays. I think you and I have both been very impressed with the job he's done these last 2 weeks watching them play in person.
And not only that, but his adjustments too, calling the plays and seeing what the defense is doing. They'll run certain formations at the beginning of the game, see how they're going to be defended. Then he has his various weapons that he can go to expose whatever defense is thrown at him.
Scott Satterfield was the quarterback at Appalachian State. He was the all-time rusher among quarterbacks before Armonte Edwards broke his records. They were a power I team back then in the early 90s. Now they're a spread team. An offense they've used perhaps to win 3 straight national titles. They're 1 quarter away from it in Chattanooga. And welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime. Tonight's NCAA Football Championship game presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Appalachian State 15 minutes away from its 3rd straight national championship. On 3rd down and 1, a big stop for Delaware. Richardson did not get it. Matter of fact, lost a half yard on the first play of the 4th quarter.
That's what you want right there. And again, I guarantee you, Casey Keeler coach football team's not going to quit. Evidenced by the stop on 4th down. Now you expect to see, Sean, once they get this ball, that 2-minute type offense in a hurry-up tempo to try to get back in this thing.
Neil Young to punt. Aaron Love. Good kick. High, and it drives Love back to the 25. Spin move made to first man miss. Couple more spin moves and a tough run. And a late flag thrown out near the 50-yard line. 45-yard punt, 11-yard return. Well, the flag was thrown. There wasn't anybody standing, so I have no idea.
We're going to have 2 flags on the field. They're going to get Duncan for the push in the back on Love. First of all, then you saw Walter Blair getting some type of altercation. I don't know whose fault it was on the Appalachian bench around the 38-yard line.
Well, another lengthy conversation here. I think you had it sorted out more quickly than the officiating crew. And Casey Keeler, you can just see the growing
2 fouls
agitation
on the play
here.
Illegal block in the back. 22 on the receiving team. We also have personal foul. 56 on the receiving team. Be half the distance to the goal. First down.
I believe it was 21, as you said, Mark Duncan, for the illegal block in the back.
Right there
it is,
push.
not 22.
Good call right there. And up to your top of your screen, you saw Walter Blair finish his man off into the souvenir seats.
Well, Delaware had a player last week ejected. Tim Prindle for a block across the boundary. He was ejected for what the officials called slugging, and he would have missed this game as a result of being ejected, but Delaware appealed. The NCAA reviewed the game tape and allowed Prindle to play tonight.
Got that ruling on who got.
Prindle happy that the NCAA ruled in his favor. Similar looking play as Blair blocked a Mountaineer across the boundary. So the penalties really hurt. They were poised to have good field position. Instead, they're back on the 6-yard line. Flacco out of the shotgun. Low snap. Throws out of the end zone. And Love, is it a catch? Oh, they're looking at each other. Incomplete pass. Well, one official said incomplete. Now the other one's going to mark the ball.
Regardless of the call, it's the same story. Anytime there's a catch, it's a nice throw right here. Love does a good job. But the Appalachian State defensive backs and their secondary have been on contact all the time. Now, if that's a catch, that might be a fumble.
Yeah, they're going to review it. Delaware didn't get it off quickly enough. Would have put Love over 100 yards receiving to 109 on 7 catches. But it will be reviewed.
It's a fumble. That's what it is.
Well, we'll continue to review it as you continue to review these important commercial messages. Well, the official review has continued throughout the commercial break, and it's still ongoing. Now Andre Lowe, the referee.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. It was an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 6-yard line. Please reset the clock to 14 minutes and 4 seconds.
Well, the correct ruling should have been it was a complete pass.
And a fumble.
And a fumble. But the ball would have been blown dead, so you wouldn't have the fumble. But it was a complete pass.
We'll take a look at it again. I agree with you. Looked to me like it's a catch. I mean, he has the ball. He has possession. His feet are on the ground. And then, in the process of being tackled, the ball's knocked out. So it should have been a catch and a fumble, but they couldn't do that because then the play was stopped.
Yeah.
Looks like they compromised in the middle. Well, we can't give Appalachian State the ball, but we won't give Delaware the completion either. And it's a completion to Mark Duncan for a 1st down. Jerome Touchstone had the coverage. Duncan goes out at the 19, a 13-yard gain. Under 14 minutes left. Delaware down by 3 touchdowns in this national championship game. Joe Flacco, 18 out of 35 passing. For 239 yards. The average is 280 a game. He throws a strike for Robbie Agnone, one of his roommates, and like Flacco, a transfer from the University of Pittsburgh. Out to the 34 it goes. 15 more and another 1st down.
And just watching Flacco right here is his ability to move around. Escaping the pressure last play, stepping in the pocket, eyes downfield previous play.
Flacco airing it out deep, and it is caught. Thrown in a double coverage, but he found Kervin Mashad, the junior. Titus Howard and Jerome Touchstone were there. 42 yards and a big chunk for Delaware on the move all the way, all of a sudden, to the Appalachian 24.
Yeah, Titus Howard has good coverage. He just looks a little bit too early, and he doesn't lean. Touchstone doesn't lean. He had to make the adjustment on the ball. His short stature hurt him a little bit on that coverage.
They rushed 6 and didn't get there. Flacco's throw incomplete. Looking for Agnone. Corey Lynch involved, as is so often the case, in the play.
You gotta like John Riley's defense. He's still bringing pressure, and what they're doing is that they're doing it off of a zone type blitz as opposed to man blitz because they're protecting the back end.
They've done a good job tonight against this potent Delaware offense. Delaware scored 59 points against Navy, a team that beat Notre Dame. Delaware beat Navy. which is a bowl team for the 5th year in a row. Looking for Agnon again, a little bit behind him. He didn't seem to be expecting it. Pierre Banks had the coverage, the linebacker. Yeah. How about the conversation we had with Pierre yesterday? He is the 16th in a family of 17 children in Durham, North Carolina. They range in age from the youngest, Kiki, the only one younger than Pierre, who's 18. The oldest, John Jr., is 50. He said at the most they had 12 people living in the house at one time, sometimes sleeping 4 to a bedroom. When Rob Stone asked him if he could name the other 16, he got them all, but every now and then he went back and added one that he had missed as he tried to do it in order of birth. Flacco zips one. Love caught it and then slipped as he tried to make the cut. They'll mark it at the 20. It'll be 4th down. They have to go for it here on 4th and about 6.
His go-to guy has been Love in these type of situations. Love's been underneath. He wants to go deep. Duncan's been his man. And don't forget Agnon out there matched up one-on-one with the aforementioned Pierre Banks.
And it looks like Delaware's going to call a timeout. And they really have to convert on this play. And Casey Keeler wants to make sure they have the right call. Flacco up to an even 300 yards passing now. Well, still 12:45 to go, but it might not be too much of a stretch to say Delaware's hopes of a national title could hinge on this play. 4th down and 6 at the Appalachian 20. They're down by 21 points. Flacco after the timeout out of the gun. Running out of time. Has some running room. And he goes out of bounds with an apparent first down at the 13. Got it by about a yard. Daniel Finnerty chased him out of the pocket. Well, he runs pretty well at 6'6", 230 pounds. If you're one of those NFL scouts looking at Joe Flacco, I think you have to be impressed with what you've seen here tonight.
And the composure, no panic, even though he feels the pressure, avoids the rush, great pocket presence. Then this, the good speed to outrun the Appalachian State defenders to get the first.
That is 11th career game of 300 yards passing here tonight. That's the Delaware record. Tough battling for yards inside the 10. Of course, bear in mind Flacco's played for only 2 years at Delaware. Started out at Pittsburgh. Had a redshirt year, backed up Tyler Palco. Coaching change there. Walt Harris departed. Dave Wanstead came in. It became obvious to Flacco that Palco was going to be the quarterback in ongoing years, and he didn't believe he was going to have a chance to compete for it. So he elected to transfer. Came here to Delaware. Ordinarily could play right away, but Pittsburgh would not release him, so he had to sit out a year at Delaware. Now he's played 2, and he is sacked. Critical sack back at the 14-yard line. Second sack of the night for Appalachian State. Gary Tharrington and Anthony Williams there.
Your classic coverage sack right there. The protection was pretty darn good. But you got to understand that the routes shorten up down here, so you don't have all day to throw the football. You see the protection setting up. He has time to throw it and just takes the sack. But again, it's the defense at the back end for the Appalachian State defenders and the effort of the defensive line to just keep coming and coming and coming and not quitting.
3rd down and 11 from the 13-yard line. 4-man rush. Flacco hit as he throws. Incomplete. Looked like Corey Lynch was poised to intercept it. And Robbie Agnon almost cast as defender. The tight end helping to break up the play, it appeared from our vantage point.
And the more I watch Corey Lynch, the more I like him. He's a smart player. He doesn't panic, and he has a great burst in vision and an understanding of what offenses are trying to do. Rarely is he out of position. Sometimes he'll take his shots, but tonight he's been right 100% of the time when he does take his shot.
24 career interceptions for Lynch. The son of a coach, his dad Brian, a high school coach in Cape Coral, Florida, was Corey's high school coach. An evangelical Christian, very small school. Lynch graduated only 60 in his class. 4-man rush, 4th down, and Flacco got it off, but it falls incomplete. And Appalachian State will take over on downs. Tim Washington, the man who forced Flacco to heave it in desperation.
When that ball's not released in the red zone, guys are covered up. You don't have time to run the routes, and you have the pressure that Appalachian State has been bringing with just 4, 7 underneath. Excellent job of execution and red zone defense by Coach John Wiley and his Mountaineer defenders.
This is a talented and very well coached Appalachian State football team that is starting to sense that it is about to make history for the 3rd consecutive national championship. 11:03 to go. They take over from their own 13. Kevin Richardson into the secondary. All the way to the 44. 31-yard gain. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, just a very quick reminder, SportsCenter starting on ESPN News right now. Just as soon as the game is over, SportsCenter will move back here to ESPN2 as soon as you guys finish up the title game.
All right, Reese, thank you. Under 11 minutes to go in this championship game. Played in front of a record crowd, stadium record 23,010 here at Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. It is standing room. They are standing on the hill to our right. Richardson up to 98 yards rushing. 5-yard penalty here for illegal procedure. We have the even numbered years on the left there and the odd on the right, so it doesn't look like 3 straight up there. But it will be 05, 06, and 07 if this one stands. Richardson got tackled by his own quarterback. They had trouble on the handoff, and Richardson went down. Northern Iowa, the victim in 2005. I don't think numerical order is that tough, is it? I don't know what they're going for. Balance there.
They don't want to
on the left and evens on the right, but
they don't want to offend the odd numbers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. 2nd and 16. Edwards after a play fake. As Devin Moore, first down to the Delaware 43. Brian Brown made the tackle. 19-yard gain.
That's the thing about this offense. I mean, so many weapons, and Armani Edwards' grip of this offense. You see Devin Moore after the play fake just sneaks out to the flat, and this is what I like. You have 3 guys that have a chance to make the tackle, and they throw no hitters on him.
Crowd, by the way, is the largest for a championship game ever played at a neutral site and the 8th largest of all time. Richardson adding to another one of his school records. This is his 19th career game now of 100 yards or more rushing. Appalachian, the only team in the country, there's 2 players active who have 10 or more games of 100 yards rushing in their career. Both Edwards and Richardson have done it. Edwards has done it 13 times. Richardson 19 now with his 105 yards tonight on 20 carries.
When you expect your senior playing his last game for his school to give everything he has, Kevin Richardson has run the rock hard tonight.
Appalachian has won 11 straight playoff games. That is the record for playoff wins in consecutive years. Youngstown State won 15 straight playoff games, but they didn't do it in consecutive years. There were a couple years in there where they didn't make the playoffs. Jerry Moore's team is about to make it 12 wins in 3 playoff years. And they've all either been at home in Boone or right here at Finley Stadium. Again this year, all 3 of their playoff games leading up to the championship were at home.
And you just watch them play. It's like they know they belong here. And the offensive line, before we get out of here, I want to give them credit, at least up to this point. Coley, Brown, Suttle, Holton, Bishke. done a great job tonight, just constantly moving people, staying on their blocks. Great effort, getting the second and third levels. You couldn't ask anything more from that group of big fellas.
Timeout for Appalachian State. It's time to take a look at the Coke Zero game track. Dexter Jackson, another big play at a 52-yard touchdown against Richmond last week. A 60-yarder here tonight. Kevin Richardson has scored a couple. And Omar Cuff for Delaware. Talk about poised to make history in the home games and the playoffs. They very nearly didn't survive the first round at home. Armani Edwards put them up 19-14 late against James Madison. They stopped the fourth down play. But then James Madison, down by less than a field goal, was driving in the final 30 seconds and fumbled. Just trying to get the ball in the middle of the field. They were at the 9-yard line. A field goal would have won the game. But they fumbled.
Yeah, just in Appalachian State, again, being two-time defending champions, they believe in themselves no matter the circumstances, no matter the situation. They're just going to keep fighting and fighting. And as the playoffs have progressed, Appalachian State, their execution of offense and defense has gotten better. And their confidence has grown with every single win throughout this playoff round.
Midway through the fourth quarter now. And Edwards throws a strike as it inbounds. Yes, it was Josh Johnson. Well, a lot of those Appalachian State players admitted they thought their season was over when James Madison was at the 9-yard line in the final seconds. All they needed to do was kick a field goal. Kerry Brown said, I was thinking about cleaning out my locker.
Yeah,
the realization was setting in, it was over. Pierre Banks told us his brother Damien, one of the 16 siblings, was saying we need divine intervention out loud in the stands. We need a fumble. And on the very next play, they got the fumble. So he's a believer in divine intervention.
And the blocked field goal against Michigan, I guess you could say things have gone their way.
Pierre got his whole family praying. That would be a lot of prayer power. 16 siblings.
I like the story of his one brother who played for Western Carolina, the arch rivals of Appalachian State, and when he comes to the games, he sits on the visitor's side.
Yeah, he's here to watch his brother play for App State, but he won't sit on the Appalachian State side because he played at Western Carolina, their arch rival. That's Telly. Brother Telly was a school teacher and a gaming inspector at a casino. Pierre told us Telly couldn't be here tonight, but he thought about 5 of his siblings were going to make it. Their dad, John Jr., or John Sr. rather, now 69 years old, a retired truck driver. Ball carriers Edwards for a first down. Pierre Banks told us yesterday for much of the time that the family was growing up, the mom raised the family because the dad was a long-distance truck driver all over the country, maybe home on weekends, but his mom passed away when he was in the 5th grade, so his dad and the older siblings took over raising the rest of the younger siblings of the 17.
I think you learn the value of teamwork, huh? Growing up in that type of situation. And what a great young man. So obviously everybody did their job.
2 of the other brothers played college football. Richardson in the end zone. Touchdown, Appalachian State.
A little bit of different celebration right there for Kevin Richardson. Great job again by the offensive line, and Kevin Richardson saw the hole. Eyes got big. 6 points.
Well, a fitting ending to his career. The national title will be won, and he'll score 3 more touchdowns. former walk-on will leave quite a legacy in Boone, North Carolina, where the party undoubtedly has begun with the Mountaineers leading 42-14. And Appalachian State, historically good. On the verge of an unprecedented third straight national championship at the FCS level, football championship subdivision, formerly Division I AA. The artists formerly known as Division 1A are now the FBS, the Bowl subdivision. I don't think anybody's really fully caught on to that nomenclature yet, but maybe it'll stick as we go.
I haven't heard one coach refer to it as.
No, the coaches still call it 1AA. Mark Duncan, the kickoff return of 15 yards. Here's Rob Stone.
Sean, speaking of NCAA championships, one of my favorite coming up Sunday, 3 p.m. on ESPN2, the Men's College Cup soccer finals in Cary, North Carolina. A little ACC Big Ten showdown. Wake Forest with the big win today, taking on the Ohio State University. Chris, it's almost unfair. I mean, is that program, are they not good at anything?
No, that's what they do. They play for national championships, and I'm sure they'll lace up the soccer boots and take the pitch and play with Buckeye pride like every athletic team does at Ohio State. Some good soccer terms in there for you.
Well, congratulations to the UMass Minutemen. Spirited run to the Final Four, which nobody expected. Flacco with flags down, just heaving it, hoping for something good to happen with Mashad, and it's incomplete. Well, UMass was going to give up the program with financial difficulties years ago. Had a good year and got some fundraisers to rescue the program, and there they were in the Final Four this year.
Well, and I'm a big believer that athletics, you learn more on the field of competition, or just as much at the very least as you do in any class.
Illegal shift, offense, two-man in motion. That penalty is declined, second down.
So anytime you have a chance to keep a program alive, you keep it alive. Sports reflects life, and life lessons are learned on the field of competition.
.300 yards even for Flacco. Huff, whoa, was not down on the ground. He's battling all the way to the end, and that's no surprise if you've watched him play. 12 yards on the completion and a first down.
Just an example of lower body strength by Omar Cuff. Cam Spear comes in with the hit and actually does a flip over him. Cam Spear does a good job of playing the screen, but look at the strength and power of Omar Cuff. Not quitting. That's the way to be a college football player, Omar.
There's his brother Antoine, who's the defensive back at Salisbury State. Flacco pulled down. He crossed the line of scrimmage. Gary Farrington got him in his grasp. There's some good sportsmanship there as Flacco and Farrington helped each other up.
He's been a player the past 2 ball games,
yeah.
Sean.
Well, they talk about the coaches that were wanting to lose weight. It's scary how he might play if he got into what they consider to be good shape. Cuff for about 3. Under 5 minutes to go. There's Mr. Turchin, Bob Turchin.
That's got to be the oldest pimp in the world. The oldest pimp I've ever seen in my whole life.
He is basically an unofficial coach, a booster, great supporter of the program, great friend of Jerry Moore. Started coming on road trips a few years ago. They kept winning, so finally they said, why don't you just come along every week? No one knows for sure how old he is, but we've heard estimates he might be in the neighborhood of 90 years old. Made a lot of money in real estate down in South Florida. And he is much loved by the players and coaches. Out there practice every day. Doesn't mean it's raining or cold.
Oldest pimp alive right here, cuz. He got more girls than we got girls.
Mr. Turchin is responsible for the upgrade of facilities down there in Boone.
Yeah, they're winning, but A stadium that's going to be much more impressive next year. They've already built an indoor football practice facility.
I talked to my mom earlier, and she had said, wait, hold on, son.
They're building a new press box, offices, and maybe the athletic director, you have to argue, hey, wait a minute. We won 3 national titles with these facilities. Why did you just spend all this money on new facilities? But actually, Charlie Kopp, the AD, who Jerry Moore says deserves a lot of credit for the job he's done, giving them what they need to win championships. Dr. Peacock, the president, is very supportive as well. Here comes the Gatorade bucket with 4 minutes to go. Chase Laws came on a blitz and had the sack. There is a flag down. Jerry Moore, the 68-year-old Texas native, fired as head coach at Texas Tech, out of coaching in the mortgage business. Missed coaching, used to go watch Clemson practice just to get his football fix.
There were 2 fouls. Personal foul, 75 offense. Personal foul, 64 defense. Those penalties were declined. 4th down.
Jerry Moore finally went back into coaching as a volunteer to Ken Hatfield at Arkansas. Ken said, why don't you come back? I can't pay you. And Jerry Moore said, I was a volunteer. I didn't earn 1 penny. His wife said, we'll do it. Even though they had 3 kids in college. She got a job teaching 5th grade. They lived in an apartment that cost $200 a month. He said it wasn't even a nice apartment by bad student apartment standards. But he was there for a year, got the call from Appalachian State, said he knew very little about the school, had barely heard of it. When he went and visited, it was a beautiful day in the mountains of North Carolina. He told his wife, you're going to love it. When she came, it was a rainy, dreary, cold day. She hated it, but they've grown to love it. And the fans in that part of the country have grown to love him. Only 1 losing season now in 19 years. I wasn't sure I was going to be there 6 months. He's been there 19 years and he'll have 3 national titles on his resume. And there's a fitting conclusion perhaps to Corey Lynch's career. He breaks up the pass on 4th down. Well, that's actually 3rd down. They said 4th down, the official, announcing the penalties, but they played 3rd down instead. Just watch. Corey Lynch has at least 1 more play.
Yeah, and Corey, again, just his nose for the football, body control, staying off the receiver. And you see Casey Keeler down there still working the officials, still competing. Felt like Corey got there a little bit early. Again, timing and body control, athleticism, that's what Corey Lynch brings to the table. Great angles he takes.
Flacco on 4th down, hoping for the prayer. Duncan can't run under it. Touchstone had the coverage. And Delaware will turn it over on downs. John Wiley's defense outstanding tonight. They had given up 32 points per game in their 3 playoff wins. All of them at home against James Madison, Eastern Washington, and Richmond. And the prevailing thought was that they would have to win a shootout tonight, outscore Delaware. They've held a very good Delaware offense to 14 points.
Yeah, I know that the best players, his top group, the defensive backs, were outstanding. Even when a pass is complete, they're there. The front 4 getting pressure. Linebackers making plays. It's a total team win for the Mountaineers.
Trey Elder in at quarterback. And he keeps and is off to the races. Touchdown! Another celebration flag, 53 yards on the first play for Trey Elder. And they celebrate joyfully with good reason. He is a very popular player, a senior. He was the starting quarterback last year. Lost that job to the then freshman Armani Edwards. You can see how happy Jerry Moore is for him. Elder handled it like a man, realized that Edwards was a unique talent. Stayed ready. This year when Edwards got hurt, Elder came in and went 4-0 as a starter to help keep their playoff dreams alive. He's a senior playing in his last game.
And just the fact that he's been a great benefit in the growth of Armani Edwards. Plus, after this year, he's a senior. He's going to go on and join the coaching staff next year as a graduate assistant. So what a fitting end to his career. Nice reward for being a team player throughout his career at Appalachian State.
See how happy Edwards was as well with a huge smile. Extra point good. More flags thrown.
You see Trey Helder, he's putting him up and laying him down. When I see those heels kick that rear end, I know a guy's moving fast. Trey Helder was moving fast. Well deserved, young man, well deserved. Dare we say the word dynasty? They've done this, Sean, with 63 scholarships. Both coaches agreed that's very difficult to maintain a high standard year in and year out because of the 63 scholarships. And again, a credit to Jerry Moore and what his staff has been able to do.
Yeah, Casey Keeler was talking about last year they're 5-6 Delaware. So at this level, with the reduced number of scholarships, there's a lot of ebb and flow. Players coming and going. Delaware's leaned heavily on Division I transfers. The Appalachian State fans starting to make their way down the field. Still 3.5 minutes to go. We hope that they all conduct themselves with class. They know how to act like they've been here before because they have been here before.
You know, I think this is a highly dynamic situation right here. I mean, they're right up there on the sidelines. There's got to be some type of security to move that back.
And because of all the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties after the touchdown and again after the extra point, they'll kick off from the 7.5-yard line. Security staff trying to keep the fans back. Still 3.5 minutes to go.
They're actually overtaking the Appalachian State bench.
Kickoff down to the 25-yard line to Mark Duncan. And he might take it the distance. He will. Touchdown Delaware. So again, those celebration penalties. Wow, that's not good. Yeah, he should be thrown out of the game for that. Scores a touchdown and rifles the ball at the Appalachian State fans. And you can see how upset Casey Keeler is.
Well, Casey's running after him.
Yeah, he might send him right to the locker room. That was absolute garbage. Took the ball and fired it at the Appalachian State fans in the end zone. This is a proud program with a rich tradition. As much history and tradition as virtually any program in all of college football. 3 Hall of Fame coaches, national titles, and they've conducted themselves with great class all season. This is not classy. Ooh, right at the, I'm not sure he meant to hit the officer. A lot of Appalachian fans right there behind him. I think that's where it was intended.
Yeah.
But that is an absolute disgrace.
Good job by Casey Keeler addressing that problem right away. He yelled at him. Now he's giving him a hug. But not letting it go, that's for sure.
Tell you what, they're going to win a national championship with one of the worst kickoff coverage teams in the country. I mean, they had a disaster on their hands against Eastern Washington in kickoff coverage. Of course, it doesn't help when you kick off from the 7.5-yard line.
I don't know about you, Sean. I've never seen, this is, it's dangerous. You have the fan base sitting there overtaking the bench of Appalachian State. Yeah. And that's a recipe for a problem. Whether players' health, coaches' health.
You know, the security here is a little overmatched. I mean, they let the fans sit on that hill, and a lot of them came pouring off the hill. And then Casey Keeler really getting after his team.
Well, I see fans out on the field high-fiving players.
Yeah, they need to get the folks back, and we can't see what would be called a strenuous effort to move the fans. I mean, there's a few get-back officers over there, but that's about it.
Jerry Moore needs to get on the official's microphone and tell these fans to get back. I understand the excitement, but you can't continue the game if this is how it's going to be. And they have a right to be excited and all that, but do it within the rules and let the kids play the game. Get on the PA, Coach Moore. Get their runs back.
The referee's trying to do that. We saw Casey Keeler again talking to Mark Duncan after the 75-yard kickoff return. He is so proud of this program. I mean, he played there for Tubby Raymond, the legendary Hall of Fame coach. Casey was a fine linebacker on the national championship team. When his name came up in the Michigan speculation this week, he said, yeah, I have my dream job. And anything that stains the reputation of this proud program is going to make him very upset.
Yeah, he's an excellent football coach. He'll be back.
Strajewski will kick off. Appalachian State apparently has called a timeout. I'm not sure they had enough men on the field. I think they're trying to get organized now. They're deep down the roster here. Rob, can you enlighten us?
I've been trying all season. I guess I can give it another shot. All right, well, let's just put this in perspective. A, I'm not even allowed in the coaches area, all right? And people are barking and yelling at me if I sneak my little tail in there to get some information. So, yes, it is completely run over. They are pushing players to the side. But the problem here is that this has almost kind of become a norm in Boone, Sean. You remember last week with less than a minute left in the game, fans rushed the field. I was trying to talk to Armani Edwards, and people were bum rushing him, and it's the norm. You know, I think the precedent had been set in Boone, and the fans just think, well, so we're not in Boone, but who cares? We're in Chattanooga. We can continue to do it. And the coaches don't seem all that bothered. No one's barking and yelling at these fans. It's just it is what it is.
Well, they're trying to get organized and get players on the field, and now they can't find players. They want to get substitutes in the game. Well, it's hard enough to organize your 11, especially in a situation like this when you want to get other guys in the game, when it's hard for the players to find their coaches and the coaches to find the guys they want on the field. After Duncan's unsportsmanlike penalty, Strajewski kicked off from the 15. Matt Klein, a reserve, getting a chance to run back a kickoff. He brought it out near the 40. 15-yard run back. Stoner?
Sean, not only that, but if you look at the Delaware sideline as well, their bench is essentially surrounded by fans as well. And granted, they're not that unintelligent to go into their space, but they're certainly crowding it, and this is certainly unfortunate. I don't think there is a way to stop it. When I was talking to the Appalachian State folks last week about, you know, what do we do to stop this, they just say we prepare for it and get out of the way and just let it happen, because I think the feeling, Sean, is if they try and stop it, that's when people actually end up getting hurt.
Well, I would respectfully disagree. You know, the response is not let's just get out of the way and allow it to happen. The response is to be more proactive to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you got jokers down there getting on a cell phone trying to get on TV. I mean, to me, you have to prepare for this and have security, some type of security down there.
You know, we talk about winning and winning with class, and Jerry Moore's a class act and a staff, but they haven't exactly covered themselves in glory on occasion here tonight, with numerous unsportsmanlike penalties. Josh Jackson, the ball carrier. Sophomore running back from Gastonia, North Carolina, a little under 2 hours away from the Boone campus. Nearing 2 minutes to go, Rob.
Sean, one last point here is these sidelines are dangerous when these fans aren't even on them. You understand? I mean, these are hardcore athletes coming in with speed and with bad intentions, as Chris likes to say, and coaches and players on the sideline get hit often during the game. There are fans here taking their pictures on their camera phones that could very easily get blindsided if something comes out here onto the sideline.
Elder Cates And another strong run. Well, it looked like he took a late hit, too. He's not going to go flagged. 18 yards and a first down. Tim Prindle, number 55, in on the hit.
Delaware, everybody's got to keep their composure. Like you said, Appalachian State has to win with class. Delaware has to finish the game with class.
I think if I'm Appalachian State, I keep running to the right. I think there's a little more room on the sideline over there. Well, really now they're at the point where they could start taking a knee, too. Jackson again. Down to the 21-yard line. Here's the Pontiac game-changing performance. Late in the first half, Delaware had scored to make it 21-7. Looked like they had a little momentum going to the locker room. And then the long pass, 60 yards. Edwards to Dexter Jackson with 44 seconds left in the half. And that was a momentum killer if Delaware, in fact, had it. I think the other big play of the game was very early, as we talked. It was 7-0. Looked like Delaware had scored to tie the game. Got turned over on a review. The runner down just short of the goal line. They had 2 more cracks at it, and 3rd and 4th down did not score. And Appalachian State really had control of the game throughout. Jackson carries, and there won't be another play. Casey Keeler trying to fight through the crowd, and I think he's telling the officers, let's just go back, and you can't blame him. He's a classy guy. I'm sure he'll get to Jerry Moore at some point, but that's just